All
All right, intro's going on. Could you hear all that?
Well, yeah, but apparently everyone else can hear all this too. They can just hear us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so good.
I'm sorry, there's too many people telling me to do too many things.
It's all right.
Get your shit under control, Luke.
Hey mate, what table am I on? Can you do the stream?
I can't remember what I just said. All right, here's to the main scene. Let's bring this bad boy home. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can probably hear my dulcet tones. You can probably not see the table right now. We're about to have it pulled up by the lovely Luke. Thank you for, you can thank us for the super professional, super clean production value we're able to bring you to today. Everything is going perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about here. But for your final round of today's eating experience, we have Time to Clap versus Art of War 1. So this is very exciting because Time to Clap is a relative unknown team. They're up and comers and they have been clubbing it. They are currently sitting in the top place with Art of War 1 being tightly behind them. Now, gentlemen, tell us a little bit about this round. Who else is going down in this one and what was the blowout from the last one?
Yeah, so I think the last round we had Art of War 1 versus what was it called, Art of Milk. Art of War won by 1 point, which was insane. There was a tie between what was it, Globo Gym Cobras and something else. And
Art of War 2.
Yeah, that's right. And now we're heading straight into the pairings of the top table game. So this is between Time to Clap and Art of War 1. And first pairings was Jay Hansen put up, and Eric has matched himself into that.
It's interesting to see who Eric puts up next. I also assume I'd feel like Eric could be pretty safe to put up Wade here, but I feel like he's going to hold Wade off to the next. Who wants to try and have a guess of what the champions are going to be this round?
Well, it's not going to be Aaron because, as we've seen so far, he likes to pair Aaron and get those big wins from him.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Crons again, man.
I wouldn't actually be surprised if Aaron is the champ. I was going to pick Aaron as the champ for this round. He's going to try and pair Wade to get the big 20 in Aaron's place because I think Aaron pretty much 20s whatever he goes into.
Well, Wadey has just gone up. Yep. Wadey was the throw-up and has been matched by Nick Argent, the Chaos Knight.
That's going to be really interesting. Nick Argent is very well poised to kill marine bodies. We'll talk about that a bit more when we get to the pairings. But what's the next bet? Because I'm of the opinion Aaron will be the Art of War.
You thinking Aaron?
I think Aaron's the Art of War champ. And if I was going to guess what it is for the other gentlemen, now that I've seen those, I'm guessing it's the sisters.
No, I'm thinking it's the Crons, man. I think the Crons will be the champ. And there we go.
You're right.
Beautiful. Look at those pairings. Danny Jarvis on the sisters versus Aaron Green and his Orcord.
That's a good matchup. That is a very interesting matchup.
And
Cron on Cron hate.
Champion the Crons, both.
Good call, Nick. As for the Crons, that's two different types of Crons. There's two different styles. One's a very resilient one, packing blocks of 20 warriors and scarabs backed up by the Silent King. The other one is ultra aggressive, canoptic, and destroyer hate. And I love it. I'm interested to see which way that one goes.
Okay.
As for you, gents, pretty interesting, really interesting matchup so far. I think the Steve Wade and Nick Argent game is going to be the one to watch. I am of the opinion that Aaron probably should win that matchup versus the sisters, but it is a hell of a lot of bolters, a hell of a lot of bodies.
I think it'll be very interesting to see Wadey as a throw-up and the Chaos Knights match into Marines. I can't see many people wanting to actually accept that.
Yeah, it's interesting that you get the Chaos Knights, the Knights into Marines, but it's I think the list is tailored to kill marine bodies, which is interesting.
So, if you guys don't know what graviton pulses are, they are D6 shots with the blast rule. They are strength 6 minus, I think it's -3 or -4, and flat 3 damage. So they are absolute freaking perfection for killing marines. And he's got 9 of those bad boys, freaking 9 of them.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, these boys, Time to Clap, are a new bunch of dudes. We haven't seen them much in tournaments before. We know, obviously, Eric and these boys have been around for a long time. Before we were getting into it, these boys were in a big huddle, getting into it, planning their matchups. And as we all know, that's the best part of the team events. What do you think these boys... I think they've got the matchups that they want.
Yeah, I think both teams are pretty confident heading into this. I mean, they're all pretty... they were all cheering for who won the roll-off at the start. And then they were, making jokes about it like, yeah, stuff you, we won the roll-off. But, they're all before the tournament round pairing started. Both teams were sitting in a little huddle, on separate sides of the room. They were pretty invested in the team pairing process, and then it was nice and tense at the table. So it was really interesting. Yeah.
And while you do play your games individually, it's still a team sport. So having mates that have your back and knowing that in this kind of team event definitely makes a big difference. I know when I was playing a lot, my crew was called the Bam Barbie Mafia. Bev, Ben, Gaz, shout out to me boys. And we would win games that we shouldn't win based on having each other's back.
Yeah.
And we could see that here with this team.
Yeah. So who you got for this round, Adam?
I can't see myself betting against my boys, the other War boys. I actually do not mind the pairings though for time to clap. I think the Necron game is actually pretty. Well, so it's rough now that I've seen how James plays. If James was a lot more aggressive, a lot more proactive, I'd probably tip him in this matchup. But if he does not pull the trigger, he will lose. He will 100% lose this matchup. He needs to pile in and go in hard. As for Danny versus Aaron, that is a lot of sisters, and I don't think they're sisters not playing Bloody Rose. I think they're Valorous Heart sisters. I'm just going to quickly have a double check there. Yes, they are Valorous Heart. So they're not punchy sisters. They're shooty sisters. And he has put a hell of a lot of points into multi-melters. That could come to bite him in the butt playing against 100 and 150 orc bodies. So I believe Aaron should comfortably take that.
100%. And that's probably why someone like Wadey was put forward to allow Aaron Green to stay in the pack. Because Aaron Green so far has been a prey list for Eric.
Yeah, the only issue there is for Aaron is it's got 2 units of 2 mortifiers. They can really pull down a lot of Orc boys, but admittedly, Orc boys can just go in and club them the same token. So it'll be how well he manages to use those elements. He's got 2 units of Xeraphim as well, and they are in Bloody Rose, which I didn't mention before. He's got a Bloody Rose patrol. But the 2 units of Xeraphim, the 2 units of mortifiers, how well he can use that will really be telling in whether he's going to have much of a hope of beating Aaron. Now, jumping into, what was the second to last pairing? It was...
It was Danny Giles on the Sisters versus the Orcs was the second last, or do you mean the last?
The last pairing was Eric versus the Admech?
Yeah, so that was the first. Jay Hansen with the Death Guard versus Eric Bathoris with the
I was working from backwards to forwards. That one is pretty. I think that's pretty safe for Eric. He's got the bodies that he doesn't really need to engage with his opponent, but his opponent has to engage with him. And the issue is that his opponent's very slow. He's got a hell of a lot of points tied up. He's got almost a quarter of his points tied up in 10 Blight Lords that are not going to see combat for a lot of turns unless he deep strikes them. And if he does deep strike them, you can bet they're only going to be going into like 5 sisters. He's got a Demon Prince. He's got a Foul Blightspawn and stuff like a Disco Lord Sorcerers. He's got a lot of points and a lot of elite things. He's got 3 units of 5 spawn. That's the X factor here. He needs to use those spawn perfectly well. The issue here, I think this is the same issue that we saw with the Aaron versus Rory game. All the obsec is with Eric. The only obsec that his opponent has is a Plague Brethren squad, which is 3 Plague Marines, and 5 Chaos Space Marines. He's just gonna. I've got a feeling he's just gonna get out obsec'd.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said earlier, you obviously shouldn't. Like I said earlier, you shouldn't look up at who you're up against. But Eric being a thrown-up match, this guy being a prey list, it's going to be hard for him to claw points back off Eric here.
But it's very interesting to see how these unfold. Anyway, so these matchups are nowhere near solved. This could go either way anyway. The mission we've got.
That's true. Before we get into the mission there, Adam, we're just going to go through the overall rankings of teams. So that should be coming up on your screen there now. Do you have that?
Beautiful. Yes, this is it. Run us through it, mate.
Yeah, no worries. So obviously this is the top 2 teams. Time to Clap and Art of War 1, both on 4 points. Battle points wise, there isn't much in it. So Art of War team will need to win, but they will need to get a little bit of a points differential in their VPs to make sure that they actually win the event. We're looking at Globo Jim Cobras, Liam Hackett's team, followed by Dan Art of War team, both on 3 points. So they were the ones that had the draw in the previous round. 5th and 6th is Art of Milk 1 and Gold Coast 2. So I do believe they're playing each other. Art of Milk 1. Okay, so then after that we have the Abnormal Boys, Lukey's Boys, up against Gold Coast 1, Josiah, my boys. And then coming in at the 9th and 10th we have Northern 40k Alliance versus Daddy Girls.
We're getting some audio overlap, guys. Massive echoes. Anything you guys know about what's going on there? Guys?
We'll have to
Massive echoes. Anything you guys know about what's going on there? Not quite sure what's up there. Have you got the actual stream? And is for everybody or just the 2? And is for everybody or just the 2? All right, guys. Anybody hear me? Please get need a response from the audience. Let me know if we are on the right track or if there's still some horror. Yep. What? Yep. Still.
I figured it out.
Yep.
I figured it out. It's all good. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I apologize, guys. I apologize.
All right. Cool. I think we've got to figure it out.
The
Can you guys
browser
confirm?
refreshed, and the Twitch stream was playing in the background. So
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
apologize.
It
Sorry,
sometimes
guys.
happens. All good. So we
Well
have our
done,
4
Lukey.
games.
Good fix, mate. Good fix.
He's all over it, Lukey. All right. So who wants to tell us about the mission?
All right, so the mission that we have here is, I did write it down and mentioned to it earlier, so I thought you were going to lead away with it, but we'll go with it here.
I got sweep and clear. If you're willing to talk to it, you go for it. Otherwise, I got it up and ready to go.
No, man, you go with it.
All right, you bitches and babes, or you babes and babettes, whichever is the feeling. This is sweep and clear. This is quarters deployment. Some people call this corners. I call this quarters because I feel like everyone else is wrong and Vanguard is corners. But this one is has got the special rule: objective cleared. In this mission, if you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, it remains under your control unless your opponent controls it at the end of the subsequent phase. Blah blah blah. Then for the take and hold progressive, control 1 or more for 5. 2 or more for another 5, and more than your opponent for that last 5. The secondary mission is direct assault. Score 3 VP at the end. Points if you control either the objective's marker in the center of the battlefield or the objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone at the end of your turn, or 5 if you control both of these. I feel like this is actually a pretty good one for some of these lists. Like the Chaos Spawn, this is a great way of getting points against Eric by just dogpiling the Chaos Spawn into the middle of the table. This is also quite a good one for Aaron as well, because he can comfortably sit a unit of 30 boys on that middle objective and not only score points, but score primary, but also score secondary. What do you guys think? Do you like this one? How does it feel?
Sorry, my mic was muted. Yeah, no, it feels pretty good. I think the it's going to favour the matchups because this is a hold 1 for 5 points, correct?
It is correct.
Yeah, so I think this is going to favour the teams, or at least give the teams a chance that don't have that horde table matchup. So you're really going to be able to capitalise on the strengths of your list more, because sometimes in the hold 2 missions, as you saw before, Stephen Wade's list versus Hayden Walduck's list, Stephen Wade's was a bit more all-in, whereas Hayden Walduck's was a bit more all-rounded. And because of that, and it was a hold 2 mission, Hayden was able to comfortably sit on objectives and rack up more points easier because he didn't have as much big hard-hitting units that weren't doing damage, sitting around doing nothing like Steve did. So it kind of plays into that favour there.
Perfect segue. Can we jump into Steve Wade's game? It looks like he has gone first in this matchup, which I think is pretty pivotal in this game.
Let's take a look.
So, if anybody doesn't know about Armagon Moiraxes, these are the Forge World Armagon models. So you've got the Helvrins and the Warglaves for non-Forge World, but these things are each 13 wounds with the 3+, 5+ invuln, toughness 7, and they're each packing a D6 Marine killer gun in addition to being flat damage 3 in combat. I'll admittedly at -1 to hit. All the Moiraxes are awesome, Sandog, but I really like what he's done here. He's skewed himself specifically into this matchup, and I think he's done a good job of getting it. As for, has Steve just got too much beef for him to handle? I think that's the question we need to ask ourselves. If you look at the deployment, though, he's got the lock behind his closest middle objective, and he's actually deployed his Nurglings really offensively. They're all out in the front. I feel like that might be a mistake. To throw them away so quickly. I would have thought he'd have unit of Moiraxes up front and then the Nurglings sitting behind those, because I feel like he can sit back, and this, like we said, this is a hold 1, hold more. Wade can sit in his deployment zone, just kill the Nurglings, and he forces him to commit Moiraxes onto objectives that he can then just pick off as willy-nilly. So I feel like that might be a mistake when it's all said and told. Nick, what do you think?
Man, I'm just happy to see some kind of different list. Like, if you look at this list, this is a perfect example of why a team event adds some refresh. When have we ever seen these dudes? Like, you having to explain what every unit in this army does, because most people have no idea what it's going to do. And these boys are onto it, man. They have purposely made this list to get into Wadey and give him drama. So this is why team events become so much more competitive.
I feel like Steven's, so Wadey's doing his due diligence right now. He's checking his distances for all of his goodness. I feel like he shouldn't be trying to do too much damage to the Moiraxes this turn. Like I said, he should hunt out those Nurglings, take away his opponent's scoring ability, and then make him have to commit Moiraxes to just jump on objectives in order to get any primary points.
So I was thinking the same thing, Adam. Like he's a lot of the movements there look like he's ready to commit. because he's got first turn, he's ready to do some damage, but I don't think it's quite optimal. I think the guy has zoned him out. I think Nick has zoned him out quite well, and he's like, yeah, cool, come out and try and shoot my guys, but you're going to be exposed, and I'm going to do much more damage in return. And I think that's some of the times where you see, a lot of the times you see on the internet is the first turn advantage. I think that's where people get a little bit carried away with the first turn advantage sometimes.
Where do you see this going? What do you see happening this turn? Do you think he takes all the Nurglings and maybe he's measured range to make sure he gets into range of one of these Moiraxes? I'm not sure 3 multi-melters is enough to kill one of them through a 5+ invul, but the over-under on that is closer than you'd think.
And I can see Wadey doing what I think is a smart thing and picking off those smaller units that he's got as the screens, hiding, and then picking off another unit in turn 2 and then turn 3 going for it.
Yep.
Yeah, wait for all the Inceptors to come down because I can't see any of them on the table. Can you guys?
No, I can't see any of them there. No,
they actually are.
They're all on the edge there.
They're on the ruin at the back.
And by the way, for those
he's got 2 squads. Sorry, it looks like he's got 2 squads of Inceptors. So one's on the board in the back behind his ruin. It's Steve Way's ruin at the top right, and another 5-man's in reserve. You can see at the top left off the board.
Yeah.
Past the
so it'd be the 2 3-mans being a little bit of a flying company. No matter where he puts Moirax's next turn, he'll have some dudes to be able to get into range. But so the Graviton Pulses, for those following along at home, range 24. So the range is a little bit limiting. Heavy D6, strength 6, -3, 2 damage. Blast. Each time an attack is made at this weapon, is allocated to a save characteristic of 3+. It has a damage characteristic of 3. So these are absolute marine killers. Now the Siege Claw in combat. Each time attack is made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. Each time attack is made with this weapon against a vehicle or Titanic unit, add 2 to the damage characteristic. This thing is damage time 2, -3, D6 damage. So this actually isn't as good as a flat 3 damage weapon as I'd think at killing Marines, but this still has all the right profiles. He also has a little bit of a Volkite. Rad Cleanser. So the Rad Cleanser, for those unaware, is a little flamer they come with that's attached to the claw. It's range 9 as a flamer is. Unfortunately, didn't get the range 12 of the new ones. Assault D6, strength 2, no rend, flat 3 damage. Wounds anything that's not a vehicle or Titanic on a 2+. Do you know why I love those guys?
What's that, mate?
Do you know why I love Rad Cleansers? Because demons. They just shit on demons. It's so good.
Yeah, true.
But what's your thinking here, mate? Feel free to take us to another table if you so please.
Yeah, man, I will do. But just before we go to another table, what do you think? What are your thoughts here? So they've put Wadey up. Time to Clap have obviously see this as a good matchup. Do you see them getting 15 out of this?
Actually, now that I've seen deployment, I actually put this in Wadey's favour. Now that I've seen them deploy.
Yeah, me too, man.
And see that Wadey's gone first. If Wadey had done anything aggressive at all, I'd be like, I think he's stuffed. But the fact he's playing this very methodically, just getting in range of the stuff he wants to kill and sitting back, I like it a lot. Because the deployment of the Moiraxes is a bit too far back for my liking. I think he's going to be hard-pressed to get a bunch of them into range. And if he does have a full commitment and charge them all up to get them all shooting, he's going to cop a lot of return fire.
Yeah, man, 100%. All right, so we've got all 4 tables up here, so we'll just pretty much pick on... Even if the guys on the chat want to have a chat and say which they want to see, that'd be good.
Yeah, by all means.
I'll have a look here and see what's getting pretty developed as far as games go. So we'll go to Eric's game.
Yep. I believe that is is that at the bottom right or is that the top left?
Yeah, table 4 it is.
Beautiful, bottom right. He loves the dense tables.
He does.
That looks like they're still in deployment. Yeah, looks like they're still in deployment. He's just checked.
Yeah, I think everyone else is sort of in deployment at the moment. Yeah, everyone is in deployment currently.
In the chat, we've run down these lists a number of times, but if there's any lists here that you want us to run down and discuss in some depth, in some detail, please point them out to us.
Also, if there's anyone else that'd like to interview, we can grab them. Obviously, I go and grab the Tyranid before because we've only got one Tyranid player.
Did the same for the Harlequins as well.
Yeah, that's it. So anyone else you want to interview about a list, just let us know.
Absolutely. So on paper, this looks like you'd think this looks good for the Death Guard player, for the Nurgle player. He's got a lot of beefy units. He's got a lot of wounds. He's got a lot to throw around. But he's got sweet F-all OBSEC.
Yeah, 100%. And even going back to playmatch styles, it's like realistically, if it wasn't Eric, it would be hard for Eric to do his late game tricks that he likes to do. because that shit's still going to be on the table come late game.
The other thing to really worry about is he has these 2 units of Repentia, which his opponent has no way to interact with apart from like flying a Helldrake over. If the Repentia make contact with the spawn, they'll chop him to absolute bits. But what I expect from Eric is what he usually does. He'll form an L, he'll string out towards the bottom and towards the top of his opponent. He'll let his opponent be drawn into the middle, and then he'll collapse upon him in turns 4, turns 5. Sandog wants to know what's in the Tyranny list. It's actually it's a Kronos Kraken hybrid. It's actually something you would have expected to see about 2 years ago. A bunch of Kraken Steelers, and then a very strong Kronos Firebase with Exocrines and Hiveguard. It's actually been doing pretty well. The gentleman's been having a lot of fun. Man, look at Aaron's game. Can we jump to Aaron's game, please?
Yeah, man, I got you there. Oh, no, wrong table. We're on table 3.
Just looking at his deployment zone, it's just yuck. Just look at that. Look at that mess.
Yeah, man, what are you supposed to do against that?
Man. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Look at the methodical placement by his opponent, though. He's spreading himself out. He's spreading himself out immaculately. Everything is spaced out 2 inches. I wonder what his thinking is there. Why would you do such a thing?
Well, it ain't blast weapons, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm just quizzical what the benefit would be from that. He's just taking up all available space, so there's no jump or anything of that nature. Maybe he's of the opinion that he's always going to go second. He's going to make his opponent go first.
Yeah, it could be the case. But having said that, he's very far forward.
He is.
So he's very close to Adam's deployment zone. So if you're counter deploying, you'll be back much further, even in that building. Maybe he doesn't understand you can go in that building.
Yeah, exactly right. And Gaz is here, and these are all Goths, so these are all advance and charge. So he could legitimately make combat turn 1 if he wanted to. And his opponent hasn't got any Repentia. He's got Seraphim and Mortifiers as a combat assault. And I think trying to draw those out early from his opponent, trying to make his opponent use those early into like Orc Boys on, say, turn 1, turn 2, lets you respond to them and get them cleared quickly. And then you essentially dissolve your opponent's ability to kill Orc Boys en masse.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, how did matchups go with this?
As in, how do you think the teams went matchup wise?
As in, I don't remember who was put forward, or I'm pretty certain Aaron was a prey.
Yes, I believe he was. In fact, let me just double check. I'll go have a quick look. So it was
because that could give us some insight into the.
So Jay Hansen went up, Eric went into Jay, and then Steve went up, and then Nick with the Chaos Knights went into Steve, and then it was auto paired for the rest. So Aaron auto paired into this, and the Necrons auto paired into each other.
Yeah, nice. So that's just some of Eric's good matchups coming back together.
Yes, this is a pretty much all shooty Sandog. They're only, like I said, they're only counter assault units are the Mortifiers and the Seraphim. And if you'll see, he's got a unit of 2 Mortifiers right there in the middle of his blob. And I'm assuming the other two are right a bit to the bottom on the bottom right of his deployment zone. And yeah, if I was Aaron, I'd make him want to use those early, make him want to get using them early and pull them out of the game. And get him dealt with. I'd happily trade 30 boys for each of those unit of 2 dudes.
Well, he's actually started to deploy some things inside the building there, so he's realised he can jump in there.
Good. He should have the Seraphim in there, for my mind, to keep them safe. Use them later game.
Yeah, it looks like it's a battle sister squad.
I think this one's heavily in Aaron's favour. I could be wrong. But I just feel like the weight of OBSEC, the weight of bodies, and the fact that he, like, if the sisters were flipped, and instead of having all their ladies being Valorous Heart, the vast majority were Bloody Rose, I feel like this might be a better game for them. Like, they could legitimately charge into Orc Boys with a couple of units of 5 sisters into 30 Orc Boys. You'd be happy for them to trade up when they hit and take down, somewhere in the region of 5 to 7 Orc Boys each, and that'd be just fine. But as it is, he's only got like 3 units that can even fight these guys toe to toe. And I do not know how he kills Gaz. I got no freaking idea how he kills Gaz.
Yeah, I see this being a definite 20 for Aaron here.
I don't see this being a definite 20, but I see I'm starting Aaron at a 15-5 and pretty sure he's only going to go up from there. So
yeah,
definitely could end up at a 20.
15-5 minimum. That's likely a 20-0. Lukey's cruising around now and having a look at objectives. We're just going to head over to table 4.
Beautiful. So this is the Necron love, yeah?
No, sorry, those boys are still deploying. We're going to... Oh, no, actually, sorry, we'll go over to that. That's table 1. That's nice a Necron on Necron.
Nice paint jobs and bases on these Death Guard.
Yeah, I cruised over, and the Death Guard is a very beautiful one, yeah.
All right, so it looks like in the top right-hand corner, what do we got? That is all the crons.
So this is the crons here. We got crons
That's
on
the cron
crons.
carpet in the
Oh,
top
and
right.
Josh has brought me lollies.
What a good lad. But yeah, in top right, we have the cron carpet. You can see that big old Silent King. He's got 2 units of 20, 2 units of 20 warriors with him, and also 2 units of 8 scarabs, and they're backed up by literally all the support you could ever dream of. He's even got 2 canoptic reanimators, so he's going to be rezzing his guys on 4s who rolling 1s for the warriors. I'm of the opinion that if he decides to go really aggro, if he decides to play really aggressive, I still think this is very much in Matt's favor. Actually, which ones? No, in Jay's favor. James is okay. This is going to be hard. James has got the aggressive crons. Matt's got the Silent King. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm not 100% on the Silent King. So why don't you give us a bit of rundown on him, Adam? What's he about?
Beautiful. All right, big old Silent King. Let me just flick over my Necron Codex, which I reviewed on the Art of War Down Under. You can check that out on all that other good shit. All right, Silent King. He comes with a lot of wounds. He has 16 wounds himself, and he carries 2 Minhirs, which form his 3-man unit. And each one of those is toughness 7 with 5 wounds, and you have to kill those before you can allocate any wounds to the Silent King. So he essentially has 10 4+ invuln wounds to get through a toughness 7 before he can take any wounds himself. They all have 3-up armors, and they function as a unit. Now, the Minhirs themselves, these little totems that float around with him, they're range 36, heavy 1, strength 12, -4, flat 6 damage. Really quite potent themselves. And then he has a crap load of different profiles. So he's got these two attendants, one of them being shooty and one of them being fighty. The shooty attendant has 9 shots at range 24 at strength 6 -2 1 damage, and then in combat he's pretty useless, being strength user, which is 5 -2 1 damage, and it makes 3 attacks with that in combat. And then it's flipped for the choppy guy. He is which one is he? He's the Scythe of Dust, and he's only got a combat attack, which is strength +3 -4 flat 3 damage, and there's 4 attacks made with that per time. And then the Silent King himself, big old Caesarus Daddy, he has 6 attacks. At strength +4 -3 flat 2 damage, and he shoots 3 times at strength 8 -3 2 damage. Please forgive me if you don't remember any of that. I won't remember any of that shit. Literally, no one will. But he does a bunch of stuff. So core models around him reroll to hit in shooting and reroll to wound in melee. And then on top of that, he has an aura of you fight last within 3 inches of him, which is kind of the biggest thing that he has. He's so hard to charge. He's so imposing to try and take care of in combat that you find yourself just needing to shoot him down. And if you can't shoot him down, you kind of just can't take care of him. And I think that might be the issue that James faces here. How does he kill the Silent King? I think he has the tools to kill everything else, but the Silent King might be the thorn on his side.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Just go down through the secondaries that we've got here. So we'll go through Matt's first. So this is the one with the Silent King. So we've got cut off the head. Then we've got a Bore the Witch, which obviously isn't a Bore the Witch. I'm guessing that's the Necron secondary, Lukey. So I'll just.
Not working. So just to let everybody know, all of the secondaries here are pretty much Necron secondaries, which are not in Down Under pairings currently. So
Diffy.
I honestly can't remember what they are. Actually, I took a photo. I thought ahead. All right, hang on. I got it.
Oh, Lukey,
I've got them
together for the team.
I've got the book here, so you read out which ones they are, and I'll read out which ones they are.
So for James, we have first Treasures of Aeons.
All right, so this one, progressive scoring. If you select this secondary objective, then after both sides have finished deploying, your opponent selects 3 objective markers on the battlefield. Score a number of victory points at the end of your turn if you control 1 or more of those objective markers as shown in the table below. Number of objective markers scored, if you control 1 of them, you get 2 points, 2 of them is 3, and 3 of them is 5. So naturally, you pick your home objective, and he probably picks the ones on the 2 peripheries, right? He doesn't pick the one in the middle?
Yeah, I think that might be a mistake, considering the Silent King. You don't want to make the Silent King have an easy spot to sit, that being the middle. You want to make him have to go to a corner of the board.
That's what I said.
You can just say, yeah.
That's exactly right. You want to not pick the middle one with that. What's the other ones?
So then we got the second one is for James is Direct Assault, which oops, we got that in wrong. I'll fix that up. The last one is Ancient Machines.
All right, this is a bit to read here. So if you select this as secondary objective, then after both sides are finished deploying, starting with your opponent, players alternate, selecting objective markers that are not within any player's deployment zones to be ancient machinery objective markers, and until 3 objective markers have been selected. So it's all 3 that are in no man's. Pretty simple. Necron Core and Necron Canoptic units from your army can attempt the following actions. At the end of your movement phase, select one more Core or Canoptic unit from your army that can start to perform its action until each unit from your army that starts to perform this action must be in range of a different entry objective marker, blah, 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 blah. It cannot be an aircraft. The action is completed at the end of your next command phase, provided the unit attempting that action is still within range of that ancient objective marker. Doesn't say anything about them controlling it or having to control it. They just have to be on it and stay on it. And then you score 3 victory points for each time you successfully complete that action. I think that's a pretty solid pick, seeing as everything in his army is core or canoptic, being either the Scarabs or the Warriors.
Yeah. So the other one for Matt is Code of Combat, or Code of Combat, I believe. Yeah.
That is the one where I think the Silent King has to kill stuff. Your Warlord has to get kills, and every time your Warlord gets a kill, it's 3 points. So he's going to be leaning heavily on this guy. Okay, score 3 victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy unit that was destroyed by a Necron's Noble unit from your army. I'm of the opinion that I think he has 2 Necron Lords, or is it 1 Necron Lord and the Silent King? I'll just quickly double check that. So Jay Hansen, no, not Jay Hansen. Here we go. So he has Necron Lord with Staff of Light. He's not going to be killing much. 2 Chronomancers. And then he also has a Lord with a Res Orb and a Staff of Light. He's not going to be killing much. That's just a Silent King. The Silent King is the only thing that's going to be threatening to get those points. So for every unit the Silent King kills, you get 3 points.
Yeah, so old James is definitely going to be taking down that Silent King then, which he is going to struggle to do. So that's a good secondary pick.
I'd almost, yeah, exactly right. I'd almost ignore the Silent King if I was him. I'd almost go to kill or take away all his board presence, kill everything else. He's actually an army that really picks up Scarabs well, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Who you boys tipping?
Oh, it's a big call. It's champion on champion. I'm probably going to go with a small win to Matt Hansen.
I think the same thing, my man. What about you, Lukey?
I'm going with James Keller because he's looking at me being like, what the hell, guys?
He was not impressed with my call. He's giving me the puppy dog eyes. I feel bad now.
Fair enough. Well, you tell him he's going to stick it to you. Let that be the fire in his belly.
Prove me wrong like Wadey did in the last round.
All right, what one are we interested in next, guys?
Looks like, let's go back to Steve Wade's. Looks like a lot has happened there.
Yeah, we'll go around and we'll fill everyone on the secondaries that everyone's got. Now we've got them updated. All right, so going through this game, Nick and Steve again. We'll go through Nick first. So he's got engage on all fronts, grind him down. And is that direct assault?
Yep, it looks like direct assault for sure.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so what's that, sorry? Direct arse. Okay, so Nick's chasing... Sorry, Luke, he said I've got to read it as is, so it is a direct arse. All right, so Wadey's gone aboard the Witch, and I'm assuming is Oath of Moment.
Yep.
Bring it down and deploy Scramblers.
Well, the thing is, he can double down and bring it down Oath of Moment is 1 point in a turn if you kill a vehicle. So it's just going to be 1 extra point for the first one he kills, because he's going to get 3 points for killing a Moirax, and he's going to get 1 for the first one he kills for just killing a vehicle in his turn. So that's a really good pick by him.
Yeah, definitely is. And it goes to bring it down as well.
I think an interesting play. The lock is getting pretty aggressive. I think that's a good call. I think you want to get the lock right into his opponent, right into his face. I haven't seen a single Moirax being picked up yet. I think that needs to change this turn, and I think this is in Steve's turn 2, if that's correct. Yeah.
Yes, this will be Steve's turn 2. Well, there's 2 different ways you can pretty much go with Lord of Change. As Nick's just rolling it down there, you pretty much just have to wait and see what Steve's going to do. So lots of people will take the bait and then try and kill the Lord of Change, which is near impossible, and they'll spend the majority of their game just wasting their time.
Yeah. And I'm interested to know where the Assault Centurions are. I'm of the opinion that the only fire you should be putting into the Lord of Change is the Bolters from the
so they seem to be directly above the terrain, the middle ruin on the right-hand side.
Okay, that's them. That's not the aggressors.
No, that's the Assault Centurions.
That makes sense. If he goes for a big charge with these guys, that could be a very interesting play. See if he gets them to connect early.
I don't think that'd be a very big charge. That's probably
looking pretty small. Like if he picks up that lock, it's a big deal. But I think all 9 of these Moiraxes together probably kill those 5.
Oh, definitely. Yep, yeah.
Yeah,
With the profile you said before, yeah. It's minimum 3
absolutely.
damage, right?
Absolutely maul him. Absolutely right. It is meant 3 damage. But they're 4 wounds, right? And if he has got him with an apothecary, it can get a bit swingy, especially if he rolls low on most of the shots. Because
Yeah.
D6 shots, man,
What
D6 shots, it can just absolutely bone you sometimes.
what was the AP on the baby knight?
AP3.
Oh, good.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's a big deal. As Wadey has just punched the camera.
He's like, oh, watch
Yeah.
this. I do MMA. Watch this camera, and then
Nice. Oh, gents,
Alright.
this is looking interesting. I think some Moiraxes need to be gone by the time we come back to this next time.
Yeah, definitely agree. Right?
100%.
Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble. Yep, this is what I thought
All
was going
right,
to
well, we've
happen.
moved on to table 3 here.
This is what I thought was
We'll
going to
just go
happen.
through the secondaries again. So Danny, the Adeptus Sororitas player, he's got engage on all fronts, direct arse, as I was told, and deploy scur. All right, so Aaron's gone with thin their ranks. Well, he's obviously backed himself to destroy a lot of
Wow.
those sisters, which I think he would do. I think that's a good pick. Deploy scramblers and engage on all fronts. Again, a stocko, 2 stock standard picks of the Art of War team.
Looks like we're into. I think the sisters went first, and we're into Aaron's turn 1. The sisters spread out a little bit. Looks like they did some pretty menial damage to that forward unit of orcs. Looks like Aaron's turn 1, he's made a nice big chunky move in advance. He's going to be getting into combat turn 1 with a lot of stuff. Wow. Because he's about to advance that top unit into range of Gaz, and then they'll be able to advance and charge as well.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I think he knows he's got the advantage in combat here. The sisters have the advantage in shooting, so he's kind of just like, all right, I'm going to mitigate half of your damage. Let's go into combat. Let's hug.
I think, but if I'm reading this right, I think he's got lines of sisters out front. He's just got single lines of sisters everywhere. So when he connects, he needs to get decent charges, or else he's not going to get deep enough to pick up any meaningful amount of dudes.
Are they single rows or are they interlocking? I know the front one looks to be single, but it looks like some of these down the bottom, and that could have been the deal with his placement before. They could be interlocking with
Yeah,
each
absolutely
other.
right. Well, he hasn't got anything bigger than a 5-man in this entire army, as far as I can tell. So yeah, I'd be really surprised if there's anything more than that. Yeah, I think this is looking good for Aaron. I think
that's a lot of boys.
Yeah,
right?
man, there's definitely good value.
so
That's a lot of boys.
does he to jump this turn?
Nah, I don't think he needs to. Yeah.
I don't think he needs to.
Perfect. Both said it perfectly. I think he does.
That echoes
I think he
back.
should.
Do you think he should? Where's he going to jump? An extra 2 inches?
Top left-hand corner.
Okay.
What would the benefit be to jumping over
Because
there?
those 2 mortifiers are going to countercharge away from Gaz, and they're going to go straight up unless he puts another unit of boys there. That unit of
True.
boys will be the countercharge into the mortifiers.
He's also got mortifiers down the bottom, doesn't he?
He does, but they're a long way away from the front line. They won't make combat next turn unless he gets a decent charge.
Possibly. Let's see how it goes. I'm very interested. Who do you think the matchup's in favour of here?
100% Aaron. We were saying that this game starts at a pretty 15-5 to Aaron, unless the assistant decides to change it.
Yeah, because the whole game.
Aaron is getting a 20.
Yeah, and he's Nick's already called it for Aaron as a 20.
Okay, I guess we don't have to come back to this one anymore, right?
Yeah.
Shall we move on to Eric's and Jay Hansen's game?
Yes, please. Especially if they've finished deployment, the slackers.
Here we go.
Oh, look at that advance. Look at that. My God, that's rough. Yep, awesome. So it looks like we've already had a... No, that wouldn't be of turn 1, because every time I see Eric move, I forget he has dominions and he just scouts a bunch of units. But yeah, give us your call, boys. What are you saying?
All right, well, let's go through the secondaries first. So we'll go through Jay's first. He's got While We Stand. He's got Engage and Raise the Banners. Eric's gone with a... Oh, okay, so they're in backwards, apparently. So Eric's gone with While We Stand, Engage on all fronts and Raise the Banners.
Yep.
And Jay has gone with Direct Arse, Assassinate, and Deploy Scramblers.
Good old direct ass. Which one's direct assault, guys?
Start of petition. Oh, it's one where you have to hold the middle and your opponent's deployment zone objective.
That's brave. That is quite brave. Oh, sorry. No, I said he was going to do this one because he can just sit a unit of spawn on the middle objective. He's going to be getting primary and he's going to be getting 3 points just for sitting on it. So I think that's not a bad pick at all. In fact,
Yeah, well, it looks like he's pushing his Death Guard up to just do that.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm interested to know if he all-ins on Eric. I think he's going to. I think he's going to all-in. I think he might find out that is a mistake. He's got a Helldrake into the bottom right-hand corner. It looks like he's going to flame on to a bunch of what I assume is Dominions down there. So he's got another unit of Dominions that's sprawled up into the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, that's a smart play because that's how Eric will be using them to get engaged.
Exactly right. Killing them quickly and early on is a big deal for him.
Yeah, because Eric loves to get the objectives and the secondaries that he can just auto get that people can't take from him. So making sure that you can stop the things that can get engaged that will definitely benefit.
Absolutely right. How do you see this one playing out, Luke?
Yeah, look, I mean, look at the secondaries. Even though I've got to fix up that last one for these guys, but just you can pick a player's mindset or perspective based off the secondary. So Eric's gone, cool. I'm gonna grind you out and defend and play super cagey and make you have to push forward, and then I'm gonna capitalize on any mistake. So he's playing behind on turn maybe 1 and 2, even though he's done some good scout moves there. So he might even hold primary for more. But then he's really playing for the turns 3, 4, 5. Whereas Jay is kind of like full throttle, let's go straight in. I need to start killing and removing things, and he's playing for turns 1 to 3. So you can see the different mindsets there, I think.
Yeah, I think I want to draw everyone's attention to Assassinate that has been taken by Jay Hansen. Playing Assassinate versus Sisters, I would say, is a mistake pretty much every single time because everyone forgets you can just auto bring them back to life. So while you think it's like, oh, I'm going to double down, he's picked While We Stand, I'm going to double down, take away his characters, and get extra points for doing so, you just never end up killing them.
So does that work? So yeah, does it count for Assassinate if you kill them and they come back to life?
Yeah, it's end of the table. End of the game, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's end of the game. Every character's been killed. So yeah, I've picked that against Sisters a couple of times, and you just get no points. So that could actually be a big deal by the end of this. That's why Sisters playing Engage While We Stand is one of the most potent things that they can ever pick.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I found from playing Custo too, especially with Killing Shield. I'll take While We Stand, and then a lot of people will take Assassinate.
Morrisol has just chimed in and said wrecked scrub because, of course, he was playing Sisters when I picked it against him.
Oh, he always delivers it softly, doesn't he?
He's a gentle soul, man of much grace and poise.
So, Adam, do you want to give a shout out to our sponsors while we've got everyone here?
Yes, please. First and foremost, the Normal Blokes. Thank you very much, Luke, and to your crew for coming on in support of this stream. I know you could have very, very well played in this, but instead you decided to jump on board and help us support and call it. Really appreciate your tech savvy, really appreciate your amazing personality and all you and your team do. You can find them over the Normal Blokes at 40kpodcast.com. Amazing group of guys doing some amazing things. Next up, Knights of Dice. Perfect time to transition over to the beautiful Knights of Dice table, if you would so please, because we have a bunch of terrain provided by them in sponsorship of the Art of War.
This is the Knights of Dice table, guys.
This one in front of us? Yes, now this one. Look at the beauty. Look at the grandeur. It is glorious. This is Necron terrain. This is very modular, very customizable, and a very high MDF quality. And look how well it paints up. This is pretty minimal effort by Aaron Green to paint this up to match this table, and it looks freaking beautiful.
And what's interesting is you can actually take apart each of the tall parts of the building, or each of those buildings are maybe 2 parts minimum, and you can actually disassemble them and put them together in different ways, so you can create different terrain sets, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's all interchangeable with itself. Also, they do great bags. I've got myself one of the bags. I think it's the Commander bag, I think it's called. That is a great bag. I get my iPad in there. I get all my books in there, my pens, everything.
Now, one of the other ones we have is the host of this tournament, alongside with Art of War, of course. We have Josh's new brand, which is Gladiator Gaming, which is the emblem there, the Gladiator helmet. So Josh is an independent TO, and he gathers a huge amount of sponsors out of nowhere. He's a machine like that. There's actually 2 whole tables, 6 foot by 2 foot tables, full of prize support that this guy's generated. And it comes from spray cans to dice to full box sets to Knights box sets. I mean, this guy's generated so much revenue for this tournament.
He's actually got 2 armies worth of pre-made bases from Gamers Grass.
Yeah, he's actually pulled out all the stops in support of these events, and you can expect this level of quality from the tables, from the stream, and from the prize support from Mr. McGowan and his new enterprise moving forward, Gladiator Gaming. Check it out. Next one is Grapple Factory. This is a gym run by Mr. Savage, Dan Savage, and his protege playing, is it Mr. Wade?
Yeah, Stephen Wade, that's correct. He's on table 2.
They run a gym out in, what area is that in Queensland, in Brisbane?
Mitchelton, I believe, where we are now. Is that correct?
I know it's Northside. That's all I know. He asked me to join, and I was like, "How far away is it? 40 minutes? Maybe not."
So these two will come on board in support of the stream and of Art of War. Fantastic guys. They are currently letting nerds go in and try out their gym and learn some life skills and some combat skills for a pretty sizable discount. And who knows what weaponized nerds could possibly produce in this world.
I know, right? And Steve is actually a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So funnily enough, he never has arguments on the table. I don't know why.
Who would have thought? But lastly, sorry, second to last, we have Big Bear. No, this is last. Big Bear 3D. So these guys are come on in support of Art of War as a whole, not just the Australian section of us. They do 3D printing of a very high quality, very high standard. All the terrain you see on an Art of War stream on their Twitch channel is all done by Big Bear 3D. They have tables customized to different rule sets, so WTC, Nova, and a regular 40k out of the rulebook. And you can buy a table crafted by a top player to match the style of gameplay at the events you might want to practice for. They can come painted. You can get them pre-painted, or you can just get them sent to you and paint them up yourself. But they do incredible things. Please go and check out bigbear3d.com. Look, check out this table. What's missing from this table, boys?
I've been trying to smash the button to try and butt you in, but I want to let you finish, Adam. That Lord of Change has just been taken off the table.
Dead. D-E-D. Dead.
Yep.
Those Assault Centurions obviously got in there. And
well, there's 2 Assault Centurions missing out there.
Yeah,
interesting.
So, interesting. He did a couple of smites on the first turn, but I don't think that's what killed them.
Mm-mm.
Man, that is a fair trade-off. I'll give you two Assault
for unkill Lord of Change, 100%.
Does the Lord of Change die or fight when it dies or explode for D6 or something? Or?
I believe it can explode on a 6. I got a feeling. We've got a couple of questions in chat. George, they are Armiger Moirax War Dogs, each one equipped with a Graviton Pulsar and a Claw. And I assume I don't need to tell you what those are. You're probably all over it. Sandog, more of a general question. What do you think about the ideal distribution of terrain types for most games, i.e. how many ruins versus dense, etc., etc.? You boys want to talk to that? What do you think is the ideal amount of terrain and the ideal spread between, ruins, forests, etc.?
Well, they've actually gone here and followed the WTC guidelines. So there's a player pack out for that, and all the terrain that you see here is mapped out for that.
Fantastic. And so we got there's a light, 2 mediums, and a dense on each 4 sets.
Yeah. So there's across as you can see here from the left, running up on a diagonal, we've got the 2 center ones which are heavy, and then the top left and the bottom right, they're heavy also. And then there's 2 wood/crater styles either side of the middle objective.
Yep.
And then the rest are light.
Nice. I think that's a good call. It's a good spread. So this is a medium table then, yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain this is a medium table. So there is a light, 2 mediums, and a heavy table. So obviously Eric keeps taking the heavy table for this team.
Yeah, it looks
so
like
if I take you to all 4 tables, you can see that most tables actually have a fairly decent spread of terrain. There's no Planet Bowling Ball. It's kind of a bit of it feels bad when you take Planet Bowling Ball sometimes. So I think maybe removing that is good, but there is a light table. So some tables, for example, don't actually have big LOS blockers in the middle per se. They have them on the sides. So I think that's kind of a counterbalance.
Can we jump into Aaron's game really quickly? I'm interested that there are no charges that have happened yet. But hey, who called it a jump target? Who called it a jump? Actually, go there right now. I need to tell you how wrong you were and how right I was. Bam!
You're so big brain, Adam.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I called exactly the placement as well. Pay me. Someone pay me for this.
We're going to hear about this all day now.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You're 1 from 10. Well done.
Hey, I'm like 4 from 10.
He throws spaghetti at the wall. Hey, I got
one. There's the first charge has been made into the bottom right-hand corner. So that's the first one in. That he made a huge, hellacious advance. I think he got a 6 on the advance on that unit. Because they've made it from the top, his deployment zone, to the bottom of the table in 1 turn. Freaking orcs, man. Fearsome.
Yeah, man. He's completely got him pinned into this corner now.
Does someone want to tell George what Eric's running? Just to encapsulate it for us?
Yeah. Let's take it to the list. He's actually running a sister's double battalion, I believe. Double battalion?
Brig.
Brigade. Hang on, I'm getting the list up. I'm sorry, George. 1 second.
Just failing George.
Oh, here we go. All right, so he's running a brigade detachment of Bloody Rose. He calls him a different name, but I won't say him on here. It's Sacred Rites is the Passion as well. I'm actually not quite familiar with that one. If you want to check that out, Adam, while I run through this. But basically, he's running a triple Canoness and Saint Celestine. One of the Celestine, they all have a relic, actually. So one has Righteous Rage, one has Blade of Admonition. I don't know how to pronounce that. If I'm
No, you got it right.
And Mantle of Ophelia. Then he's got 6 Battle Sister squads, just bare bones. He's got 3 Celestian squads, each with a multi-melter, and 2 with cherubs. He's got 2x9 Repentia, and those things are beasts. Eric loves them. He's got his I can never pronounce
Hospitalia.
Hospitalia. It's got a relic for Litanies of Faith. 1 CP relic. I think that allows him to reroll the litany, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep, makes sense.
Then he's got a Magifier with Tower of the Stoic, which is, I believe, it ignores AP1, if that's correct.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, sweet. And 1 CP Venerated Saint, Tell of the Warrior, and Warlord Beacon of the Faith. Then he's got 3x5 Dominions, 3x5 Retributors with 2 multi-melters each, and 2 Mortifiers with Heavy Bolters and Penitent Flails.
He rolled the 9, by the way, on that top unit. That jumped. He made the 9. In they go. He's gonna make.
9, no way.
He's gonna make 4 first turn charges, guys, with 150 boys.
Look, if he comes to me and complains about
What?
dice after this game, I'm gonna.
The shit. Anyway, but as for the passion, that is exploding 6s in combat. That's
So
what his
looking at
passion
Eric's
is, guys.
list, if you're going to pick secondaries against him, that's the kind of list that you would think I'm going to take Grindem down against. But knowing the way Eric plays, that is probably the worst secondary you could pick against Eric.
Yes, it is. Will PA 905. Oh sweet Jesus, what is that? What the fuck is that? That's 150 Goff Scar boys that have made a first turn charge. Just putting that in perspective for you.
That is called a green mess.
That is an absolute green mess. That's so.
Well, having said that, his orcs are red.
Yeah. Do you know what is the issue? I think so. Who thinks a 32 mil base can fit between that screen out front?
I do.
Yo, that could be why we saw that positioning earlier.
I reckon
You reckon
I can.
again?
Yep.
These George thinks the orcs are going to get bashed. This isn't Eric, by the way, George. This isn't Eric's list. This is a non-combat sisters list, unfortunately. This is Shooty Sisters versus Goff Orcs. We'll jump to Eric's game because Eric should have had his turn 1 by now, and we'll see what's progressed there. When we come back to this, I expect to see about a third to half of these sisters just disappeared.
Look at that transition, Adam. Swift now.
It's fucking beautiful. Jesus, beautiful, mate. This is Eric. This is much more Eric. As soon as you see the deployment versus the other guys, you're like, yeah, this is much more Eric.
That's what I told you. Look, Jay's extended further, trying to push into the deployment zone. He's taking direct assault even. And Eric's like, nope, I'm just going to sit on my objectives. You can come to me, but it's not going to work. Like, I'm never going to give you a good opportunity to actually commit.
He had a Helldrake that was on the bottom right-hand corner, and they tried to kill what I think was 5 Dominions. I think it failed, and now it's dead.
Yeah, it did fail. There's 3 of the 5 Dominions left in that bottom corner there. And just off the screen, is that a Mortifier?
That's a Mortifier.
Yeah, there's a Mortifier just off the bottom of the screen there.
Man, like, Helldrakes make me sad.
They used to be so good, hey?
Dude, a freaking Helldrake can't kill 5 sisters.
Yeah, but 2 sisters praying really hard can kill them.
Yeah,
and Aaron's topped the stream. He's put it back in a good spot. Look at that. That's almost spot on.
Thank him. Well, thank you.
He kicked it over and caught it. I'm impressed.
Oh, good. That's all that training.
He only wants us to show his game and no one else's.
It's all that training with Grapple Factory. George is.
So shall we check when the Necron's here?
Yeah, please. So it looks. Firstly, it sounds like we're into turn 2.
Oh, we're getting a head shake from Matt Hansen. He's shaking his head. He's not keen. So maybe the Silent King is failing.
Oh, dang. Yeah, chuck it over. I'd love to see a big old fatty commitment from James early on.
We actually have a guy who plays with us at BGC. His name's Jai, and he plays the Silent King, but we call it the Giant King while he's on his table. So from now on, if we can just refer to it as the Giant King.
Well, I don't think I think he's fine. The Silent King is doing great. Everything else in his army is fucked, though.
Yeah, it looks like when I spoke about James ill before, he took offence to that. Now he's getting stuck in. He also said a few things about his game in the previous game.
He's rolling dice and holding up the finger.
Yeah. So in the last game, James played a little bit too conservative for us. I think that cost him. This one, he's just gone absolute apeshit bonkers. That's 2 units of 5 Scorpec destroyers that are made turn 1 charges and 2 units of race. He still has a unit of race in reserve as well. They're just to the left of the one that's made combat, to the upper middle. Man, it's going to be a lot of dead stuff on his opponent's side.
Yeah, 100%. This is much better. This is what we wanted to see from James in the previous game.
Yeah, this is what this list does, boys. This list is just like, cool. You think I'm gonna sit back and be methodical and stuff? No. I'm Blood Angels.
Sweet. All right. Well, why don't we cruise over and see what Wade he's up to?
Yeah. Wade will be the next one I want to check in on, because I think that's one of the swing games in this. I feel like this is going to go. Well, I think this is going to go James's way, and that I've seen that. Of course, I'm going to be tipping Eric.
I'm going to run around and update all the scores just to make sure everybody's up to date.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Adam. Obviously, Wadey got thrown up, and this is on paper a great match for Nick, but I can see losing a lot of change already. This is something that Steve could bring around and actually nail it for his team.
100%, man. This could be the game that swings the whole round. So it looks like you've got 1 Moirax and a unit of Nurglings that have charged into those Assault Centurions.
So why would he be assaulting there?
Because he couldn't close the distance otherwise, to get OBSEC onto that middle objective, to deny it from his opponent's primary.
Yeah, 100%. And then he'd also hopefully be tying them up and deciding dictating where they're going to be in the next turn.
Exactly right. Well, one of them's dead, so I'm assuming he shot a little bit and only killed one of them. Looks like he's lost an attack bike from the right-hand side squad as well. But apart from that, I can't see much else damage that's been done. Although I can't see any Inceptors on the table, and we know he started with the 2 units of 3 there, so he might have lost those already.
Well, the one unit's on reserve is no longer where it was positioned, so they're being used.
Yep. We just can't see them.
Looks like they are on the bottom, so on his side of the table, on his left.
So Sand WG. Aboard the Witch in this is Oath of Moment. Unfortunately, Down Under Pairings hasn't updated to have all the specific secondaries in it. So for this, when you see Aboard the Witch in a lot of these, and if you see a secondary that doesn't make sense, most likely it's a faction-specific secondary that just hasn't been added in as of yet.
Yeah, so if you look at that middle ruin on the top right there, that's where the Inceptors are there next to the attack bikes.
So they're all still alive?
Yeah, it looks like there's definitely 5 there. And then maybe even in the middle building there.
This is going to be a big turn. The Assault Centurions lost 1 in combat to the Moirax, and then they killed the Moirax. That's a big deal. Next turn, I could see like another 3 or 4 Moiraxes going down, guys. This actually might be a big swing against the Chaos player. But then again, if he just sticks to 5-up invulns, he's like, nah, bro, I'm not failing 5-ups. He could just absolutely maul anything on the counter assault.
Yeah, well, grind him down is going to be really hard to get for Nick here.
Yes, it is. It is. But, and Steve's doing a great job of denying it. He's already missed what I assume is 2 turns of it.
Yeah, 100%. Because this, you would obviously take grind him down because you know that Steve's going to be aggressive. He's going to come at you, and you're going to be able to pick units apart. But the way Steve's had to play, because of possibly taking grind them down and how he's learned against from playing Duck in the previous round, he's now being a lot more cagey here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not crazy about the positioning of the Moiraxes. I would love to have him have not used one of his units of Nurglings and have that sitting on his back table, so his back home objective now, just so he could commit all of them. Because as of it right now, he's got all his Moiraxes are half shooty, half combat, and most of them are going to be wasting their combat ability just sitting on the backboard.
Yeah, so these bottom 4 that he's got on the bottom left there, they're obviously the shooty ones. Is that correct?
They're all shooty. They've all got 1 shooty gun. And
I'm with you. Sorry, I thought you meant he's got half an assault.
See,
and half.
I prefer.
Cool. So he doesn't have very good line of fire from these bottom left.
Exactly right, man. So I do prefer to have my Moiraxes. I'm going to take Knights. They need to be dedicated to my mind. Big Knights can have the ability to do everything, but little Knights have to be one or the other.
Yeah, especially in a team environment, you could definitely heavily weigh this into a shooting army.
Oh, for sure, man. If you had just 3 or 4 of the 9 Moiraxes being full combat, and then 5 shooty, I think it changes a lot of how people have to come to terms with you. If you push 5 Assault Centurions out, you shoot 2 of them down, and then charge them with 3 Assault Moiraxes, they die. They're all gone. It's not a problem anymore. But yeah.
I have found some of the missing interceptors there. So if you look at the bottom right on that ruin, sitting on top of there is 1 single. Yep, I got him. It's like Where's Wally?
It is. I love this though. It's cool because it adds a little bit of intrigue into your brain, being like, "Oh man, I had changed the way I think about this." The fact is, I think Wade is playing this extremely well.
Yeah, definitely. Wadey's doing everything he can.
Look,
here.
he's just leaped out his Is that his unit of 5 blade guard? Yep, I believe that's his 5 blade guard. If they're white scars, so they made a nice chunky advance as well. They're going to be charging into his opponent's home objective and probably sitting in cover just for the freaking lols as well.
Yeah, look, he's just confirmed that they are blade guards, and we've got an update on scores. So we'll go around to table 1. We'll work away our scores from table 1 all the way to 4 again.
Beautiful. All right.
All right. Okay, so the Necrons are on turn 1, and so is Aaron. They're both on turn 1. The other 2 boys are on turn 2. So this is turn 1 here for the Necron on Necron action.
Mm-hmm. So,
and
a reason it's a big deal that he got this commitment early. So if you remember what I said before about his opponent having 2 Canoptic Reanimators, and he also has a lot of things like the Lord's Will and stuff that he can put onto his guys to make them either more resilient or more killy, or he can have a protocol that turns him into the set to defend and +1 hit in combat, etc., etc., etc. He doesn't have any of that turn 1, and his opponent's been like, "Bam, I'm going to get you turn 1. I'm going to clobber you." But yeah, Nick, sorry, what were you saying, brother?
No, you're right, man. So these guys haven't scored any points yet. So just their first turn was no points.
Well, tell them to get a motor on, mate. We ain't got all day. Jesus.
Yeah, 100%, man. We need some details. All right,
That's right.
We've already just been on to table 2, but we'll head on there and have a look now that we've got some updated scores.
Fabulous.
Because they do have some things to report on. All right, so we've got 10 each from the primary. We've got Engage 4 and obviously 4 weighty there. Oath is 3. Bring it down, we got 6, and the direct ass is on 6. So we're looking at a 2019. So far it is close.
It is very close. Yeah, absolutely right. This is going to be this is the turn for Wade though. Look at him. He's putting all his multi-melters into double tap range, and he's gonna. Yeah, this is it. If he has a really good connection, if he comes down and does the job here, this could be absolutely over.
Yeah, so he's going to start. He's going to start obviously picking apart as we go on all those little knights there. They have an invuln on them?
They got a 5 invuln, yeah, that's standard.
Okay, yep. So that's not too bad. And sorry, what were the wounds that you said before?
13 wounds apiece. Let me just double check. It might be 12. No, it is 12 wounds.
Yeah, okay, so you can't necessarily guarantee that 3 dudes are going to take down a knight either.
No, 3 attack bikes. Chances are they probably won't take down. So you got 6 shots. If he doesn't have any rerolls, 2 will miss, 1 will fail to wound, and he'll get 3 wounds through. You'll save 1 on the invuln. 2d6. You know, you got to roll the 12, or you got to roll 4 pluses on both if you're in melter range.
Yeah, so he's going to have to commit all 5 of those attack bikes there to try and wreck one of those there.
Yeah, absolutely right.
The Blade Guard are obviously coming out here, and they're going to wreck some stuff.
Well, so there's a unit. I can't figure out where his 5.
Man, I think the dudes on this side of those, like on this side of the objective, the bottom side, I think they are the Inceptors.
Yeah, I was about to say the guys above the Blade Guard look like the Inceptors. Yeah.
Yep.
Virulence. Are these tables set up in any sort of way? Rules that they are using for terrain setup. I'm wondering what a decent setup have been. Blah blah blah. So these are set up according to the WTC player pack, which indicates what a light, dense, and heavy. So light, medium, and heavy terrain setup tables are. This is a great example of a medium table. It has 2 large, vertically large line of sight blockers of dense terrain in the middle, accompanied by 2. I guess what we call in the old days area terrain. If you remember, Nick, it probably more your era as well.
Yeah, mate, you know what?
And then in the top left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner, we have dense line side blocking terrain as well. And then the rest is essentially just what we would call ruins. But yeah, this is a great example of a medium table. It's not the prettiest, unlike the amazing Knights of Dice table that we have going for us. But this one is a great example of something that's functional, does the job, and is a really good example of what you want. That is the beautiful Knights of Dice table. Is this a medium table as well? Or is this a light table?
I think it's a medium table. Am I seeing some thin down orcs on that top left?
I think you are.
Or are they out of their base?
I think
maybe because Aaron does use the so I think they're just.
And it's about what I thought. Most of the sisters are gone. mate. There's at least a third of the sisters dead there. He might even be wrapping a few just for the hell of it, which is why I was really worried about the distances he left between his models when he was placing them. So I don't know if you guys were here when you saw he was methodically placing his models 2 inches apart to take up the maximum amount of board space, so he couldn't get jumped in on. But that means that the charges that Aaron does get in onto him, he has very easy ways to wrap them after he does his pilot and consolidate. And naturally, he can't put any attacks into the guys he does. He's got enough models that he can still easily kill 5 sisters while pivoting a bunch of models past them to get wraps off.
Yeah, so he's definitely got a pin in that corner there. So it's looking like a 20, Adam.
Well, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I still will give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll see when the mortifiers make combat and they punch in. He has to be a full commitment by the sisters this turn if they want to have any hope of getting any mileage back in this game. So, but we'll see how they come in after that, because we've got Celestine, we've got a Choppy Canoness, Tunes of Seraphim, Tunes of Mortifiers left to come in as the counter assault portions. But if they can't account for about 60 boys, this shit is cooked. Lukey, Virulence has asked, is there a decent army spread at this event? Give us your hot take on the meta and the spread of the armies.
Oh, right, yeah. So that was interesting. Let me just quickly get up the rating. The spread of the tournament. But it was actually really interesting. There was a fair spread this tournament. I do believe that most teams had a Marine player. I think it 8 out of the 10 teams had a Marine player.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh no. Oh, here we go. So it's actually the most prevalent non-Imperium army was Necrons. There's 5 Necron lists. That's to be expected with the new Codex and whatnot coming in. So there's 4 Adeptus Astartes list, but then if you take into account Dark Angels being Adeptus Astartes, and where was the other one? Blood Angels, and there was one more. I remember. Where was it? Dark Angels. I thought there was one more, and Blood Angels. So total, there's 7 armies. So 7 out of 10 teams have a Marine Codex in their team. So still a Marine sort of dominant meta, and I would say that the Marine armies are probably their big heavy hitters, the big swords. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah, so next, so after Necrons and Marines, we have Admech. This is common, big, strong list. Generally, it's the breaches. If you look around, it's generally the breaches that are breaching the tables. We have, what was the other unit? The Sulphur Hounds. Is it the Sulphur Hounds or the Raiders?
Oh yeah,
no, Cerberus Raiders for sure.
Cerberus Raiders. Yo, I think Admech is the strongest individual army right now, more so than Marines.
They're the most versatile. Like, they have a shooting and a really strong board presence that you can.
Yeah, that's right. As Adam touched on earlier, they do everything in the game. They've got combat, they've got rerolls, they've got mortal wounds. There's nothing that they
and
can't
now
do. The damage output.
And now they're quick. That was the only issue they had before. They could do it all, but they weren't fast, and now they're fast.
That's right. Yeah. Then we also have 3 Custodes, Demons, and Death Guard players, and Orcs. We actually have 3 of each of those armies. So we know Aaron, one of the Art of War team members, is playing Orcs. He's playing the horde of 100-something boys with Ghazghkull. Great list. I actually love it. We've been talking about it heaps. Liam's got the other one, which is the Meganobs list. He's got a bunch of Meganobs in there. We always call Liam the Meganob. I don't actually know what the last Orc list is. Do you know?
Dylan Hopkins is the last list, and I think it's very similar-ish, as in Horde style, to Aaron's.
Nice.
I can actually see some Death Copters floating around in it from here. It's just sitting over there.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a few Death Copters. Even Aaron's got a Death Copter or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just engage points or backfield objective holders. Actually really good.
Yeah. Oh, look at that comment. You're knocking it out of the park, Nick. Well done, mate.
You are, Nick. You're doing great. For those who don't know, this is Nick's first stream, and he's fucking killing it.
That could be my dad, I think, actually.
Well, fair.
That wasn't me, dude. What are you talking about? Then we've also got Demons. Demons was quite prevalent, but I think the most predominant Demons list is the Keepers. That normally has a bunch of Keepers or something like that. So we've got Rory running 1 with 1 Keeper, a Lord of Change, and Great Unclean 1, and then a bunch of Beasts. You've got who's the other guy with the Demons that I thought?
Is it one of the Gold Coast teams have a demon list?
Oh, Dan. Dan's running the triple. What are they called?
Triple Beast. How do we forget about Dan?
Yeah, Dan, the actual beast himself.
He has one draw round, and we've forgotten all about him.
Never heard of him.
So we got from old Sandog in there. He's saying that Custodes are strong right now. As a Custodes player, I don't really agree. I don't think Custodes are a strong individual
Yeah.
army, but I think in a team event, they are super strong.
Yeah, I think they took a big swing because they came out with a big boom, right? The Custodes Psychic Awakening dropped, and then every man and his dog came out with the Custodes army, and then they were playing them, and they were so hard to beat because no one knew how to deal with them. And now since like the Forge World's been kind of reworked a little bit, some things have changed. I think you find that the Custodes aren't as big of the kings as they used to be.
Yeah, that's it. I think you look at them on paper, they've got a 1-up save, a 3-up save, but then the things like the breaches that can put down 14 wounds on dudes, they're just going to start dying.
Damage and stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And as we talked about earlier when we were in Will's game, he had the shield captains that he was throwing into things, but they don't actually kill anything.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I find with Custodes. As durable as they look on paper, they can't kill anything.
Yeah, because they only have like 4 attacks still, which is less than a humble marine, assault marine, or whatever.
Oh man, I had the first game of 9th I played, I had 5 bike dudes against 3 outriders, and they just got absolutely destroyed by the 3 outriders. It's like 495 points versus 120 points.
Yeah. It's insane, right? But that's not to say Custodes don't have a play. Now, Adam, you mentioned to me a long time ago that Custodes have a what's the shield where it can pass off wounds from an Imperium character, and
the old Aquilin shield.
Yeah,
they're my boys. They're my boys.
Yeah.
I think it's so much more beneficial than what Shadowkeepers are.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Shadowkeepers is a meme. It's a trap. I think there's far better options out there for those willing to find them. But yeah, Aquilin Shield is like, it unlocks so much resilience for other Imperium builds. I do think mono Custodes just don't do it. Just don't do it, man. They just don't kill enough. And the fact is they still can't kill anything from the other side of the table. So when you're playing a cagey game, you're just not doing anything.
Yeah, that's it. You sort of can't stop people from scoring their VPs. You can get it, and I can get, when I'm playing Custodes, I can get as many VPs as I want. But the problem is I can't stop people from getting
it. Exactly.
So I'll lose 84-83, 74-72.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the trap falls in, because they don't have the mobility to just charge over the other side of the board and stop you. If they go, cool, I'm going to not die, sit on objectives, and just score secondary points, and I don't even pretend you're there, they actually win the game.
Yeah, that's it. And the way Marines are now, they can get buffed up stats to be just as good as what Custodes are for cheaper.
Just a quick call in this game, just to point out some things that have gone down. I think there might have been a small mistake made by the Chaos player. He's got a unit of what looks to be 3 Chaos Spawn that are very close to a wall, and I think they're about to get charged through that wall by Repentia. Although I think there's one unit of Repentia still being held well back in reserve. It's all the way at the back, right behind everything. But I think the other unit is about to go into those 3 Chaos Spawn and pick them up. Apart from that, so he has 3 into 5 Chaos Spawn, and I'm seeing 1 Chaos Spawn by himself in that middle ruin, a unit of 5 Chaos Spawn, and a unit of 3 Chaos Spawn. I got a feeling he's almost lost an entire unit already. Not the end of the world, but yeah, that just shows how much damage Eric can do sitting on his haunches playing defensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said at the start. Like, Eric, he knows what he's going to do. He knows pretty much the play that your list is going to play. And he knows, like, from the secondaries, you know what the plan is for the Demons player here. The Death Guard player, sorry. And look, he just said, yep, cool, I'm going to sit in the objectives. I'm going to wait for you to come in the middle. And then when you're close enough, I'm going to slowly pick you apart. And now he's countercharging. And as I said, he's playing for turn 3 to 5 rather than 1, 2, 3.
And alluding to that, that's why obviously he's got the Repentia where they are. He's let them drag all the other units forward, and now that they're forward, the rest of the back units are exposed. Eric's going to come out and hit them. Sure, the Repentia might die, but then that could even lead to some people moving the Death Guard back to that back right corner, which is going to make him start losing the direct R secondary, as we talked about.
Well, exactly right. Eric's doing a very good job here. He'll use this 1 unit of Repentia as bait, and he'll draw in the second unit, the large unit of Spawn. And people do not really factor in how quick Repentia are. They are literally what Kraken Steelers wish they were, man. Everybody played Kraken Steelers? Repentia are like them, like that have literally been benching like 120 for like the last 3 years. They're freaking insane.
Yeah, that's it. And especially not, like, Eric doesn't need him till turn 3. So it just goes, everything about him just plays into his playstyle even heavier.
George with his critiques, love it. Never lose the fire, baby. I think we've had a charge. It looks like, yep, the Repentia have gone into that bottom unit of Spawn. They will pick them up without any effort whatsoever.
Yeah,
He's even positioned them. That the reason why I thought it was a mistake is because you could see where they've extended themselves, because they charge into a unit of Sisters and they've piled it out. He's right now, Eric is not within range of the Biologist Putrefier. So he's going to get to fight first with the Repentia.
Sorry,
He's actually.
foul
Yeah.
blight spawn.
That
that what
whatever
you
that
said?
guy is. Yeah, that's that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just mentioning that Eric's actually going for a charger in this bottom right corner. So the mortifier's going into I think it's a couple of Plague
Yeah.
Guard that he's got sitting there. Sorry, not Plague Guard.
Plague
Plague Marines.
Marines.
He's got to get
Marines.
into 3 Plague Marines to just stroll around getting objectives because they're the cheapest troops choice you can take while still taking something that's resilient. If you don't want to take any cultists, which is the way to go, I think. But yeah, he should pick those up. Those Repentia are going to kill the ever-loving crap out of those dudes. And apologies, I didn't get the... What was the name? Foul Blightspawn?
Yeah, foul blight spawn. That's the one
honestly-
that gives the fight last aura. Yep.
Honestly, I could just say any 2 disgusting words together. Just like if you're trying to name any of the orc buggies, you can just get 2 units of 2 names of whatever you want. Boom Dagger, Bang Wagon, Waggadagger, Boombox. You know, I'm sure that's an orc unit.
No, it is. I checked it last week. Yeah.
And just for Death Guard, you can just go pussy fuckface.
Well, as long as
That's a
you say
unit.
something that's mildly repulsive, I'm sure it'll fit.
It is exactly right. So this is the Repentia going in, hitting on 4s, rerolling everything, and they're going to be winning on 3s because they are strength 6, strength 7 because they have Bloody Rose.
Yeah, and I think don't Repentia have some sort of strat when they fight when they die or something like that? They can do something.
They can just do models. He's just auto picked up those 5
There you
spawn.
go. Yeah, look at
No
it.
ifs, no buts. Didn't even bother rolling the dice, man. They are just kaput in the freaking dirt.
Well, him
just
and Jay, they've played each other a number of times, and they're very good with their. They're like, yep, I'm pretty sure this is gonna die. I'm happy to just take it, man. So
Yeah, dude.
they play.
And
some
he's
stuff
absolutely
with
right.
K.
He puts something like 30 wins on those guys. They don't get an armor save. It was just gonna be
Yeah, it's
feel
like
no pains.
4 attacks at strength 6, neg 4, 2 damage or something like that, or neg
yeah.
2 damage. I can't remember the AP.
It's insane. I think this is the mortifier into those 2 guard dudes. He's gonna roll it just
Yep.
because they're only neg
Yeah,
1,
there they
and
go.
then he's just gonna pick them. Yeah. But see how many attacks the one mortifier has? That's why I think they're good. Because you can use them like you used to use these broodlords, remember? I mean, you can't block them for them being characters like broodlords used to be. But man, they can just pump out some explosive damage.
Yeah, they're really good countercharge because they're not a huge points investment, but they can pick up little leftover units where you don't want to commit heavy points. So I think they're really good for that role.
Virulence is making a good point here. If Death Guard get good, Necrons get better because they've got something to match like for like with. Do you think that's a true statement?
Oh, I mean, I get where the idea is coming from. I don't necessarily agree. It's only if they're using the same rule, right? I mean, they still have different units that benefit in different ways, and I think Death Guard operate in a different way compared to Necrons. Unless you mean, of course, in the meta, they sort of fill the same role, I guess, but I think that Death Guard do it a little bit differently.
Yeah,
They do
that's
it
fair
in
to
like
say.
a kind of like I sit here and wait and don't do much, and then when you hit, now I'm going to hit you back. But the Necron resilience
George-
with the Obsec is a bit ridiculous currently.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. It's the fact that they're resilient in addition to having OBSEC on fucking
Yeah.
everything. That's where it gets tilting.
I think. So
Because
that
they're
is a
not,
different story. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, they're not anymore. They're not more resilient than Beast of Nurgle. They're not. They're just actually not more resilient than Beast of Nurgle. But the fact is, they're OBSEC. Beast of Nurgle aren't, and that's where the difference comes in. We've just seen the unit of 10 Blightlord Terminators have Deep Strike right into the middle of the table. I'm a huge fan of the Blightlords, a huge fan. But when they get their 3rd wound, it depends on where the points sit after they get their 3rd wound. They're going to be ridiculously good. I'm just not sure there's anything good that they can do this game. I'm just
Yeah.
not. What do
I
they do?
mean-
They kill 5 sisters, and then Eric just fucks off, and they never make combat again.
Well, honestly, I think he's put them a little bit too far back. I mean, I'm not sure what's under those ruins, but I think he could have deep struck them a little bit further into Eric's lines, so they could at least have a 9-inch away from the core of his units.
And why did he tendril back like that? Why hasn't he got a strong frontage of 5 across? Because
Yeah,
if he makes
exactly.
the charge now, he gets like 4 guys into combat.
I'm looking at Aaron. He keeps kicking the stand. Did you see the camera screen move?
I did.
Yeah, no, that's all
Aaron needs to up his game.
But yeah. So the Blightlords. The thing is with this, like they only move 4 inches. So like now, are they going to wait a turn before they can actually? It's going to be 2 turns before Eric can just move away from them now. Like there's, I don't know. Just,
Exactly right.
So I feel like
Unless
with
that's
a
what he
unit
wants
like
to do with
that,
him.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
He
move
has
them back.
got direct assault. He has got direct assault. He can just park him there. Like Eric will never want to go and will never go for that middle objective if they stay there. There's just no point. It's just too many resources that he needs to get rid of them. But yeah, well, interesting. You want to chuck us onto another table? See if there's anything
Yeah,
else
let's
going
have a
down.
look. I'll show us the 4. What do you reckon looks interesting?
We'll leave it up to the people, the guys in chat. Which game do you want to see?
Yeah, tell us what you want to see.
Top left hand corner, we got the Necrons on Necrons. To the right of that, we have the Knights versus Marines. That's Steve Wade versus I can't remember the man's name. I think it's Mr. Argent, the Nick Argent. To the bottom of them, we have where we just were. That is the Death Guard versus the Sisters, and to the left of that, we have the Sisters versus the Orcs. Let us know where you want us to bubble in on. Virulence, yes, bottom left has lost a lot of models. It looks like a whole Orc boys squad has been removed from what we can see. Actually, chuck us down there. Let's see.
All right, take us into the Orc versus Sisters game. Here we go.
I think I can see all the squads are still there, but yeah, one of them has had a huge mountain taking care of it. I think the Sisters are going to get wiped.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of reached critical mass, right?
Yeah. So his counter assaults come in. He's got his a unit of 2 mortifiers has made connection at the top. I can't see where his other 2 units. I guess I can see where they are. So look at the middle central ruin. Just to the bottom of the tower on that ruin, there's 2 mortifiers that have made it into combat. And then the other 2 are on the far left-hand corner into the top left-hand unit. The issue is, though, it looks like last turn he went in and see that middle unit there. That's been reduced to what looks to be about 9 dudes. So he can just freaking green tide those if he ever needs to. He holds them back and just green tides them late him in the game if he ever needs to re-rack. But I'm of the opinion he can conserve them. He's got enough boys as it stands right now.
Well, it's holding in the middle objective, and I mean, yeah, exactly. He's just going to wait to green tide them. You can see Gazcol's there sitting waiting for anything that commits on it. He's like, all right, come to Papa, let's go.
Well, I'm of the opinion they move up next turn. Gazcol goes around him and he goes and eats the 2 mortifiers and he just goes in. Although he's a monster, he can't go through that ruin unless it's breachable, can he?
He's going to take the long road. Yep.
Ball bag. So he goes around. He can't go around to the top. There's too many boys there. I'm not sure he wants to fall back with them. Unless he jumps those out, in which case, all the power to him. But yeah, Gaz has got a long way to go, and he can't go around to the bottom. It'll take him too long to get into anything. But yeah, dude, see what I said about that bottom right hand quadrant? The bottom right hand flank is literally non-existent for the Sisters player. That is entirely Orc. In fact, that half of the table is entirely Orc.
I think, yeah, poor old Danny's only got a quarter of the table playing here.
And he has less models than one of these Orc units.
Yeah. I think that's like a 4 humble sisters versus 30 odd boys.
But you see how many freaking dice and mortifiers throw, man? Look at that many dice. That's 2 mortifiers.
Yeah, it's insane.
Why? Why do they get that many dice? Like, what the fuck?
They just pray real hard, man. Did you not see the 40k trailer for the Necrons vs Sisters? Shit, they can pray themselves alive.
But so can Orcs.
I love Snake Oil Services comment. All chaos all the time. I bet you he's a chaos player.
You can hit us back over to chaos if you want. Oh, really? Do you think he's chaos? I'm not sure. Maybe we should ask him. Hit us back over to the chaos games. We have the Armiger Moirax's ones and the demons. Let's have a look at that. Let's see what Steve Wade's up to.
There we go.
All right, how many Moiraxes are left on the table? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck me. Mind you, there's a lot less Marines.
I was just about to say, I'm like, yeah, I like that number. Now, if we look at the other one...
Man, he does have a few hiding in the buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've just cruised over there and had a look, and wait, he's hiding all these dudes everywhere.
So the Blade Guard are still alive. They're still alive. They shouldn't be. But I mean, in the scheme of things, the Blade Guard are like the least dangerous thing that Steve Wade has. How messed up is that, guys?
Yeah, man, it's brutal. Oh, here's my 3 damage dudes that just wreck face. Oh, they're my terrible units. Sorry.
Yeah, here's my least valuable, least threatening thing is 5 Blade Guard. What the shit?
I did have a bit of look around to see what's going on around the rooms, and I do. Not sure if everyone remembers, but earlier Duck did say that there was a gentleman's agreement that Duck would play Liam. They would both champion themselves.
Oh. Did they do it?
So I went over and they were playing each other. I was like, oh, boys,
Good
Liam
lads.
is a man of his word. And Liam said, no, I am not. We accidentally got matched this way.
So Duck didn't do it either.
Nope, Duck didn't do it either, and Liam was...
Oh, you chumps. So Liam was like, I'm going to dodge him, and nah, Karma hit ya.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Liam pumped about, I think it was 5 meganobs in, 20 attacks coming in on turn 1. Hitting on 4s, he hit with 18. So Duck is
Yikes.
actually getting his pants pulled down over there.
Yikes. That is just an aberration of a roll, though. Like 18 hits on 20 dice, hit on 4s. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck dealing with that.
And Meganobs still hold up, dude. They're still potent. I think they need.
Insane, yep.
I think they need another wound though. If they go to 4 and maybe 5 points, 4 or 5 point increase, they'd be truly like back to bully status.
Man, they're still pretty in bully status if you play them right. I think the 4 wounds, I mean, how many more Centurions? We've been there, we don't want that again. Let's stay away from the Centurion matter.
I think Orcs deserve something like that. And I want Orcs to have a reason to not just take 150 boys. I don't want that to be the only way to play boys.
I think Aaron would like that as well.
Aaron would, his back would, certainly.
I think he's had to bring 2 phones just to use his dice app.
Yeah.
Dual wielding. I hope he does. That's hilarious. All right, so Moiraxes have connected. Looks like he has picked up the last of the Assault Centurions. He has a unit of Inceptors on the middle home objective. Looks like they charged in wrapped onto the Nurglings, and they've picked them up in the subsequent turns. And so he holds firm onto his home objective. This was the I think turn 3 for the Knights. Is that correct, or maybe it's turn 2?
No, I think this one's turn 3.
I think it is turn 3 as well. And I'm of the opinion that Steve's going to put this in the bag, in the dirt this turn. With so he's only got 3 Armigers left. He's only got 3 guys out of 9. He's got 6 down. That's a lot of points. He's maxed his bring it down. He's absolutely freaking maxed it. He's about to get another point, so it's a 4th point for killing a vehicle with on a vehicle or monster for Oath of the Moment. And dude, yeah. So look, he's just pulling out attack bikes out of his ass. Where'd those guys come from? They were hiding in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to earlier. He has a lot of Marines hidden around the buildings. It may look like he doesn't have a lot of stuff. I had a chat to him, see if he could bring him out. It may not benefit him, but it would benefit us and the stream.
Yeah, no, dude, he's playing for his team. He's got to do his best. But yeah, no, what a bastard. It'd be awesome if we could get terrain where you could take the lid off.
What about invisible terrain? If you had invisible terrain, like made out of just clear acrylic, maybe that's the way.
Yeah, it is. I played a game though. I played a whole CanCon playing fantasy where they had paper terrain, and that was tragic.
Yeah, I'm not
fucking. They weren't even stuck down, man. Like we had a gust of wind from the fans because it's warm. I was like, oh, there goes the terrain. It all blew off the table. Here we go.
Oh, Aaron was trying to show us some things, but
instead he bumped the camera again.
Yeah.
No. Another unit. Look at that freaking advance. Look at that advance. So sexy. White scars just being dynamic. So we've got a commitment of a bunch of melter bikes into the top 2 Armigers, and also he's put looks like he's got a captain that's getting ready to charge in there as well. In the bottom right-hand corner, two multi-melter attack bikes will come out from the bottom right-hand corner ruin, and he's got 4 blade guard ready to charge in there as well if he doesn't get the job done. Looks like there are already some wounds on that dude. Also, in the bottom left-hand corner, he's made a nice chunky advance roll with that unit of 5 Inceptors, and they've jumped from the middle objective right into the bottom left-hand corner. They'll be shooting up into the top 2 Armigers, and I actually expect the Chaos player to be wiped at the end of this turn.
Yeah, I think you're right. This looks like it's the money shot here for Lady. He's going in for the kill.
Well, see, this is huge. This is a big swing. So when these guys were marking this down, this is the Marine Hunter list. These Armiger Moiraxes are kitted to kill Marines, and they chose this matchup. Wade went up, and they put the Moiraxes in. So this is something they expected to be a win. So, and when this happens, guys, you can't just look at this as being, he won when he should have lost. This is a swing. His opponent, they expected to get a 15 or a 20 out of this, and instead they're going to get 15 or 20. This is a 30-point swing.
Yeah, this could easily be a 36-point swing. And having, to stress your point there, maybe they should have gone all in. If you're going to go in this as the Marine killer, like you said earlier, they should have been double shooting, not shooting and combat.
Yeah, exactly right, man. Well, not all of them. I think you need a couple of combat. I would have actually liked to have seen one big knight, one big what's the Rampager? I don't mind the Chaos Knight Rampager, just because you can get like 24 attacks or something crazy out of it. And on top of that, it's got the death grip for the characters, and you can make it. I think you can make it explode and do a lot of damage. But I do quite like that, especially against things like Assault Centurions. It comes in with the flat 6 damage, the -3, -4, and just pump out those dudes.
Well, I'd say that Nick did plan on using that Lord of Change to tie up those Assault Centurions.
Oh, that's true. That
is
actually
go back
true.
to that Lord of Change, which they lost on the first turn.
I would like to know what his rolls were for that. Like, if we get to have a chat with him, did he just lay an absolute freaking egg on the rolls?
Yeah, see, it's
Yeah,
interesting,
no worries.
right?
I'll
Because
get onto
it
that.
has a 3-up invo. And
And a 6 feel no pain, and he
yeah,
just
exactly.
popped it in the turn.
Can he not reroll ones as well?
No. Oh,
So if he
no.
rerolls, he can reroll
Oh, I guess sixes. He gets wounds back
That's
on the
the
sixes,
sixes.
so feel
Yeah.
no pain. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking of. Yeah,
And he,
which is basically reroll
he has the
ones, yeah.
impossible rope, so he has one free reroll on that. But if he rolls a 1 on that roll, he's auto dead. So that's possible. That's what happened. He was going to
Oh,
die.
that would suck.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah, that could be
Yeah.
what it is. I gotta go find out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I'd
Because
try
rather
they're
to-
spend
four.
the CP in that case.
Well, you spend the CP as well. So when you roll and you just lay an absolute egg, like you got 6 3-ups and you fail 5 of them, you CP one, you impossible robe the other, and then you roll a thing. Oh, cool! I had 16 wounds left. Auto dead. Sorry guys, off you go into the warp, son. You've been recalled.
He does the KFC, the little bird chirp, and then out he goes.
The Moirax on the bottom middle has been removed. He is DED dead. Looks like we've got
Yeah.
Multi-Melter putting pain onto the top of the remaining 2 Moiraxes. And that's all he's got left, guys. He's just got those 2 Moiraxes. Steve White's list is fucked, especially in teams. It is double fucked in teams.
Yeah, it's insane. Hey, might take us over to the Necron game. And,
Yeah. Unfortunately,
see how that goes.
this is absolutely over. So yeah, take us to the big boys. Take us to the other ones.
All right, man. So Wadey went all in, and he just put his whole army into it. The assaults, he went all the interceptors into it, and just killed it.
And he's caused an absolute collapse because of it. So big balls on Wade, because if you go for that and you flub it, rough.
100%. That's the type of things that you have to do as a shield style list. He's been put in there, and people thinking maybe he's going to get like 5 to 0 points, and he's come back with a 20. And it's the big plays like that you have to do to turn them around.
Yeah, exactly right. What are you guys seeing here?
Some Necron on Necron action. It looks like a pretty much a monster mash, or not so much a monster mash, just a
Medium
infantry
monster.
robot mash. I got a comment from Valerie. Can we get a normal time zone? Adam, is there anything we can talk to Diff about changing the time zone?
Yeah, sure. I'll see what we can do. But in the,
Is he
in the
that, or does he
meantime,
think that we're in a normal time? We're probably like midnight. He's probably going to bed and he wants to watch our games.
Valerie is notorious for slipping into people's chats and throwing a little bit of shade. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. I think he lives in Bulgaria, in Sofia, in Bulgaria. Lovely dude though. Always great for supporting and tuning in and adding to the streams and the content. Really appreciate him.
So yeah, the Silent King's still in play. I honestly don't see it dying this game. It seems to be that there's a big mash in the middle between Lichguard on who is it? James Keller's side, and I can't tell what those models are. Oh, what are the new destroyer? Not the destroyers.
So he's got Scorpec Destroyers, a unit of 10 Lichguard.
That's it.
So two Scorpec Destroyers, a unit of 10 Lichguard, and they're currently absolutely body mauling a unit of 20 Necron Warriors.
Yep, that's what's happening in the middle there. Yep.
Who surprisingly have survived. There's still Necron Warriors there. So that's just testament to how crazy, brutally resilient they are.
Well, that's the thing. After they all die, if the whole squad's not dead, you get to roll, and then however many you get back, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Look, you want to cast your mind. Look up to the top left-hand objective. That is a wall of scarabs that has been set up. Has been pretty tactically and pretty well set up by Mr. Keller, because they have walled off and they've taken up all the available space for his opponent's scarabs. So we're going to have scarab on scarab love there. And I can tell you one thing, not a lot is going to happen. A whole bunch of nothing is going to go down in that fight.
Yeah, that's it. Just rubber on rubber.
That's right. Two flaccid ding-dongs fighting off. I'm interested that he put the Silent King down to the right. I thought he would have gone central with it and tried to do his best.
Yeah, I was thinking that was going to be a middle, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought he would have gone into destroyers, right?
He could be just trying to move away from the race. It could be because James has moved around to make it more hammer and anvil. That could be the case.
He has done that, hasn't he? He has forced a hammer and anvil fight here, which I think favors him. How do you come to grips with this many race, this many spiders when you went second and just lost a 30-year army?
Yeah, that hurts. It hurts. All right, so we've got a bit of an update here on table 2. The game has been called. It is over.
What was the scores? Any ideas? I mean, I'm assuming it's close to a 20.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be close to 20. Luke's just punching it in there now, so the final scores are coming through. So if we stay here, we'll be able to see them update live as we go.
Beautiful. How good is this, though, yeah? We just get to see it roll in as they plug it in. The power of DUP, the power of Diffie, and what he's been able to create.
Yeah, the power of Diffie, man. The power. I was sitting there, Diffie sent me all of your and his computer and all his stuff, and I was up to like midnight with him one night, and he's like, man, how good is this? We're going to kill it. I'm like, man, this is all you. This is not us. This is all you,
man.
Diffie.
Yeah. So right now it's a 15-5, which surprises me. No, they're still going. Still going. It's 14-6.
Yeah, our scores are still being. It looks like Nick's putting his scores in right now.
Well, yeah, I can't believe that's Steve's final score. I'm of the opinion he's all but maxed Oath of Moment. He's all but maxed. He has maxed Bring It Down for sure. And there's no reason he couldn't have gotten deploy scramblers in the 2 turns where he had complete run
here
of
we
the
go.
board.
It's coming as we go. So there's only scramblers to go, and it's
already 73. It's most likely going to be a 19 or a 20. It is a 20.
There we go. 20-0.
Well done, Steve Wade. That is a huge swing in the tail of this, because Steve Wade was a put-up and got matched into what I'm assuming his opponents thought was the Marine Killer list. This list was...
Yeah, 100%. It was the Marine Killer
list. This list had...
It 100%
Dude, the freaking Moirax has had the highest score of any single list leading into this round, and it just got handed a 0. So Steve Wade... Well, firstly, props to a dude just taking freaking Armageddon Moiraxes and just dominating. Yeah, kudos to that dude.
Yeah, well done to Nick Argent.
Yeah, Nick Argent, well done, dude. Making a statement here as well. A relative unknown coming in and going into the top table with possibly what could have been arguably the best list at the event coming in, because it had scored the most points. And yeah.
And you could almost argue that Nick's is the worst.
Sorry?
You could also almost argue that Nick had the worst single-player list coming into this.
Yeah, well, yeah, you would have argued it, and then the results would have proven you wrong. And then we had another flip. We've got this table. So it's 6, man, team events. Mwah.
Oh man, yeah, this is where the fun is. 100%. This is where.
Can you
is.
Please take us back to Eric and Jay Hansen's game, please?
No worries, man.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Eric lock back into cruise control. Has he made the charge?
Ooh,
he made the charge with the Blight Lords, guys. That's interesting. Very interesting. Looks like they're a Repentia.
So
sorry, you call Matt.
They're the Blight Guard that's come off the center objective there. So that's obviously due to Eric's positioning with the Repentia that he's got there. So Jay has obviously acted to what Eric's doing there by dragging them down, which has brought them off that objective, which is actually in Eric's favour.
But if you remember what was in front of, he had a single mortifier in front of his line there that I think that's what the Blight Lords charged into and cleared, and they're just lined up in front of Eric's army.
That's actually in the bottom right hand side of the table.
Nah, there was 2 of them.
Around. Eric's moved that.
Yeah, he had one right in the middle of his line, and the other one,
sorry, you're right.
That's no stress. And so he's used his Repentia onto the right of the middle bottom objective. They've drawn his last unit to spawn down into that combat, and it looks like he hasn't killed them all, which is surprising. I thought he would have cleared those in pretty good order, but naturally Eric can at times just turn his rolls on hot and hit those 4-up invulns that those Repentia have. I believe there's Repentia 4-up invulns in this lineup. Someone in the chat will probably be able to confirm for us. They're Valorous Heart. They're Bloody Rose. So they got a 5-up with a 5-up Feeling No Pain. So maybe they did just cold block survive that, and now they're hitting back. But those 10 Blight Lord Terminators are literally just standing in front of Eric's line. I'm interested to know what he decides to do with them, because I would have thought Eric would just ignore them if they didn't make that charge. Just ignore them. Do not contend. Do not come into them. Not do anything. Just get the hell away from them. But now he hasn't got a choice. He's going to have to deal with them some way or shape.
Yeah, and he's also got that Demon Prince on the very bottom there.
That's true. Are you able to see what he's in combat with? What do you make a charge into?
There is. It looks like a sister with a multi-melter. So a Retributor.
Yeah, Retributor. Nice. We've got a pile-in happening from Eric. Looks like he's fighting back. He's been tagged by these Blight Lords as they've come in and killed the Mortifier, and now he's doing his pile-ins and his attacks back. I'm actually really interested to see if he's able to kill these in combat. They are notoriously crazy resilient, but they have only got 2 wounds, and so the Repentia having damage 2 and like neg 4 is actually quite good at killing him.
Yeah, definitely.
As soon as they go to 3 wounds, not so much. Sorry, mate.
He also has those Repentia behind there again as a counter assault unit.
He does, yeah. They're just held in reserve, like the Sword of Damocles.
Is that the Disco Lord top left there?
It is absolutely right. The Disco Lord up there. He's probably gone in there. I think there was a unit of Dominions that made their way up there. Lord Disco's gone in and cleared them off. He will be a problem for Eric in the future turns because I believe he cannot see him where he is. So he'll pivot around there and charge into whatever he's got in the left-hand side ruin from the center.
Yeah, so do you think Eric would even bother
Nah,
going up
not
there?
gonna bother.
No, I don't think so. Just take the Disco Lord out of the game.
Yeah, exactly right. He's got if he pulls back there, he's got to turn before the Disco Lord can do anything good, and the Disco Lord will have to expose himself in order to get a better position. It would be very
Yeah,
clever by him
He was.
to just scoot one ruin closer, like just one ruin closer, and leave him there.
I'm not sure the base will actually fit around the back of the board, so he's going to have to go the long way around
Yeah.
to get to the objective.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If that's the case, then how did he make it in there? I'm assuming we're missing a couple of inches of the top of the table.
Yeah, maybe. I must be wrong then. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I probably can't
It
see
can
the top
it
of the
gets you
table,
sometimes,
yeah.
brother.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Because there's space between the... Yeah, cool. I get it.
Yeah. So these Repentia have not died, and they're probably going to get to fight back, but they have to fight last because, of course, the smelly bad boys there. Looks like we're into Eric's turn, and he's fallen back from the Prince. How do you see Eric playing this turn out, mate? How much of a commitment do you think he makes to the Blight Lords?
I don't think Eric will do too much to him. I think he's just going to play the waiting game again and just see what they do. So they'll kill that Repentia, I'd say.
As in, you think his Repentia on the right are going to die?
No, sorry, the ones. So he's got some in combat with the Bright Lords there.
No. So he's got a unit Repentia that's sitting behind his home objective. Does he? How much does he commit with those? I'm of the opinion he has to commit the Repentia into him, but does he put anything else in?
Well, he's not going to put the Saint in there because he's got While We Stand. So he doesn't have a lot of other things there to commit.
It's interesting that will he risk putting her in? There are some terms in which he can be savvy enough to put her in. He's got a Canoness with Beneficence, which is essentially Teeth of Terror, +2 strength, -2 rend, 2 damage, and a bunch of extra attacks. He also has a Canoness with the Blade of Admonition. It's also pretty good in combat. That's a super power sword, and he has the Saint herself, say Celestine. So it's 3 punchy Canonesses essentially that he could commit, but all those are worth his. All those are his While We Stand. So I'm not sure he wants.
So he could definitely bring the Saint back. Can he not bring the others back as well?
I can bring them all back.
Maybe it is a bit of a payoff there to go in there and bring them back.
I think you do. I think at least you put Celestine and maybe the Beneficence one in. Maybe you don't commit all 3, because the chance is that like each flail can kill one, and then you can only bring one of them back because you can only use the stratagem once, so you'd lose one.
So true. So you'd have to commit the Saint and one other.
Exactly right. So then Saint gets up on a 2+, and then you auto get one back with the CP. But yeah, I think with his positioning, I think it's pretty easy for him to. So breaking this down, it's a bit of an issue when you use big bull units like the Blight Lords, yeah, and you have 2 flails in there. Because you can have 2 flails in that unit, as long as he charges in such a way that the Repentia base the flails, and then he doesn't have the other guys, the other 2, the Canoness and and Celestine in base with the flails. He can't be hit by the flails, and the flails are what is going to do the damage. A bubonic axe is probably not going to kill one of these guys, but so there is a lot of shenanigans that I expect him to do in order to make sure that's a safe charge for those 2 characters.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so there's a fair bit of action going on Aaron's table, so let's have a look over there.
Yep. Light it up. Bit of a hit back.
There is a bit of a hit back there. Now, I had a chat to Danny earlier about the spacing on his sisters that we saw at the start of the game, and that was due to just board control. He just wanted to move them out as much as he could so he could take as much board control off, which Aaron said, as we discussed, and Luke said, that that allowed Aaron to just creep in between all the models and just wrap him up as he wanted. So it actually paid in Aaron's favour. It
did. Looks like we've got I'd say that is a green tide has occurred.
In the top left up there?
No, it's the top left. I believe they're dead from the left-hand side unit that was killed by the mortifiers and the Canoness and such. Yeah, the middle top looks like he's re-racking. He's re-racked that unit, and they're going to get green tided, and then probably the jumped. Yeah, he's measuring the range now for his weird boy. His weird boy move over there.
That is so nuts. Oh, you've already killed 100 of me dudes? Let's
have 30 more. Man, it is so rough. You're just like, oh, God. Why did I leave 2 left?
His mate just brought him over a beer and said, good game, man.
Who did?
Danny Giles' friend brought him over a beer and said, good game, after he green-tided the squad. Yeah,
that is. It's probably the death knell. I mean, admittedly, I think Aaron going first probably meant he was most likely going to win. But, I mean, there were still things that the sisters could do, of course, to make that not a thing. But, man, when he goes first and makes 4 out of 4 first-turn charges, it's a paddling.
Yeah, that's never going to work out good. there's not much. I don't think there's a lot that he could have done to stop that though, because he needs to be
Um,
able to be across the board and on objectives.
So I believe he was okay with his spacing, but I think he could have done the same thing with just 3 units of sisters and then had a nice, big, healthy gap between those units and the rest of his models, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, true. Sorry, yeah. I thought
Yeah.
Yep, no worries. Yep.
So the ability for that would mean that he could make all those first turn charges and he picks up a sum total of 15 sisters. Which he would, no problems. And then he has no wrap targets. He has nothing to bog you down with. And then you can put all your fire, clear off one unit, put all your charges in, clear off another, and you clear your 60 boys. And hopefully to a man. But, math is a thing and dice are a thing.
And going second,
It's
unfortunately.
the thing, it's the thing, yeah. Looks like that's the jump has happened. And he's just moved up pretty conservatively. Well, he's just deep struck pretty conservatively. Admittedly, he doesn't need boys anywhere else. The center is pretty well held. Gaz has now moved into relevance. Like I said, he's gone around the top and he's going to go into the 2 mortifiers. He'll pick them up like with his farts and his burps. He'll pick them up. Doesn't even need to actually attack. They'll die. And he definitely doesn't need them in the bottom right-hand corner. That is well and truly sewn up.
So I might take us over to Eric's game because there's some stuff going on over there, and I think this one,
Yeah.
unfortunately, might be coming to a close quite soon.
You two call it, boys. I'm going to take a little bit of a 5-minute breather.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, we got a bit of update on the scores that old hard work and Luke's put in there. So
That should be
quick
up to
rundown here. So Necron, Matt on James. James is up 13-7, so the Silent King isn't pulling his weight over there. Aaron versus Danny. So Aaron's up 12-8 at the moment. So Danny's doing well to keep it as close as he is at the moment. Aaron's in the box seat, but Danny's doing what he can to keep it close. Nick and Steve's obviously finished here, and we've got Jay Hansen versus Eric Lethoris. So right now we're looking at a 12-8 in Eric's favour, but as we know, the late game is when Eric punches it out.
Yeah, you can already start to see it. Like, look at all the models in Eric's deployment zone. I think they're all sisters, really. He's basically avoiding the Blightlord Terminators, which I believe that's not them there. There's a Demon Prince down the bottom middle. Blightlord Terminators have crashed into the lines in Eric's blob there, and then also Jay's got the what are they called? Chaos Spawn down the bottom middle, just beside the
that's
ruin
right.
there. Yep. So Eric's kind of getting forced into his deployment zone. There's also Lord Discordant at the top left. So actually, it might not be as written off for Jay as we might think.
No, that's true. So obviously that Disco Lord is going to come out and wreck those sisters.
Yeah.
So, but Eric's probably only going to look at getting maybe 1 or 2 turns of max primary so that he can get ahead there, because Jay is behind a fair bit on the primaries at the moment.
Yeah, he's got all these models still, but I think what we're noticing is that, like, so Jay still has all these big units, but nothing to hold these objectives. So Eric's just going to force around and go, cool, I don't care that you got these big models, I'm just going to go straight to the objectives.
So something like those Repentia on the right there, on the right-hand side, that's something that Jay should have already dealt with, because they've been sitting there for 2 turns. Eric's obviously giving him other units that he's got to worry about, and then that unit will come across, get the objective for Eric later on.
And look at that, man. He's just removed the entire squad of Blightlord Terminators. What the hell happened there?
Yep, and insult to injury, Eric picked up the last model to move it himself.
I actually don't know what happened there. We'll have to ask when we get a second. Yeah, so Eric does. You're right. Eric has a bunch of smash characters that we like to call them. He's got 3 of them, as we saw on the list. There's three cannonests that can really hurt some throw down some hurt. He's also got a squad of Repentia. I can see swords in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were at the back here as a counter-strike unit.
They're right behind the ruin down the bottom left. That small ruin. They're right up pushed against the wall.
Yeah, so it's obviously brought them in, maybe.
Yep. Wow, what a turnaround there, hey?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Score is going to be there after that sort of, because I mean, he's got nothing to hold him back off the objectives anymore, right?
No, that's it. So I see Eric carrying away with the primary there. But while we stand, he's going to get 15. So that's big, which is also going to turn into a very bad result in Assassinate for Jay.
So it's a 30-point swing, essentially.
Yeah, man. So just that alone, I'm looking at least 16 to Eric.
Yeah, exactly. So even though the scores look close now, it might swing. So I think that, along with Steve Wade, Aaron's probably going to take that game off with Danny. I think towards his last few turns, he's going to start to sort of rack up the points, run away with the game. Which I think that's 3 big wins there. I think that might be enough for the round.
Yeah, that's it, man. And it just goes to show, like Eric said, that Ducks team, Art of Milk, was the biggest threat to them.
Yeah, they peaked early. They were Icarus, and they still kept flying towards the sun. So
Yeah, that's it. So Liam's team's also gone really well as well, and so's Art of War 2.
so let's have a look. Yeah.
So it looks like there's a lot more assault going on as well here. So this would be the Death Guard down the bottom here, just the Blake into the Repentia they've got there. Yeah, so Eric's losing his Repentia off there.
So that's the Chaos Spawn hitting the Repentia back. He's also still got the Demon Prince down the bottom middle. But Eric's got Celestine heading over. Yeah.
Just off the table, actually, the Canoness is actually into the Demon Prince. It looks like Eric sent her in there to get some work done.
I wonder if that's going to knock down one of his while we stands, because that would be a big deal.
Well, we can spend the CP to bring it back,
Course,
yeah?
As as Adam and Matt Rosoli mentioned before, you don't take Assassinate against Sister's character.
So that's obviously something probably Jay didn't know, when he was taking his Assassinate.
Yeah, Eric would have lapped that up and been like, "Ha, easy." So back in the saddle, is that all the Blight Lords being picked up?
It is, man. We think it was the Repentia that came in with a counter assault unit.
That's a shame. But yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I was actually surprised he charged. I was like, you're going to kill one Mortifier, which Eric has put out there as bait, and then you're going to counter charge by the Repentia, probably a couple of characters, and lose them all. It's a bit of a shame, man, that Blight Lords aren't more terrifying. Just had a word in from Liam. Liam Hackett has beaten Hayden Waldock. I think he's avenged himself for his previous loss. So his Orc list has gone 3-0, and I'm of the opinion Aaron's Orc list is about to go 3-0 as well. So man, Orcs are having a big showing.
Yeah, massively. We will have to call that the game of shame though, because both of them were not man of their words.
But in the end, none of them could run away from each other, right? So
justice was served.
So I'm hanging shit on Liam right now. So good, you guys tried to dodge, but karma is a bitch, and so are both of you.
We've actually got a question in from Valerie here. He says, "Why don't you get the Assassinate point even though the hero is revived?" And I believe that's because Assassinate is at the end of the game. You said
end of the game.
Yeah,
I'll read it up for you guys. Yeah. We'll double and triple check. I know he still gets, while we stand, we fight 100%. Assassinate, score victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy character model that is destroyed. So they're not as destroyed if they're still on the table at the end of the game. So yeah, it's no Assassinate, and that becomes a big swing when those also count for while we stand, we fights.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, that's the perfect army to harbour those objectives, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it's not like Necrons, where Necrons pay a CP and then come back on a 4+. You pay a CP and then you take away miracle dice for the amount of wounds you want to come back on. So you can just take away one miracle dice and auto come back on one wound. No roll needed.
Yeah, if you know you're going to kill the model, or you go, all right, stuff you, here's 6 wounds back.
Exactly right. Like for
you may have missed it, Adam, but Eric's actually thrown a Canoness into that Demon Prince down the bottom, which is just off screen.
Snap. It doesn't look like he got the job done, so I'd be interested to know if she dies. But mind you, if she does die, it's in his opponent's turn.
Yeah, that's what brought this discussion.
Yeah, the fact that she's alive right now means that he won't give up those points.
Eric's just winking at me as he walks past.
Yeah, clever sausage that he is. We want to take a look at the Necrons.
Yeah, I was just about to change too. You read my mind, Adam.
Oh man, we're just in sync, brother. Fucking 10 hours of streaming will do that to men.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever seen Pacific Rim where all the brains merge? That's us 3 right now.
Yeah, we could totally pilot what is it called? Yavara.
Ivara? Is it Ivara? No, it's Jaeger.
No.
It's a Jaeger. I remember it's like the drink. Right. That's what I was saying.
It stands for something, but whatever.
It's like the
looks
like
or
something.
Looks like the middle unit of Warriors has been deleted. He has one unit of 20 left that he was using to shield his Silent King while the Silent King dealt with some stuff in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm interested to know whose unit of Scarabs that is in the bottom right, but I'm of the opinion that's probably James's. Oh no, it's Matt's. For 100% to be Matt's. I remember he started. So Matt had a very basic, a very well planned out deployment. 2 units of Necron Warriors on the front line, 2 units of Scarabs on the flank, Silent King behind with all the support characters. Makes a lot of sense. I'll see what Liam has responded to my shade. He said lol. There you go. That means he feels bad. And he should.
Where is he? Oh, he's going to talk to Josh. He's gone off.
Nice. Nick, are you able to decipher what's going on here? Where are the big combats here? Where's the big things that are going to go down this turn?
Man, I'm just thinking we might need some lights or something on these cameras because these models are dark. It's hard to decipher what the hell is going on here, especially on Necrons. And
the
whose
issue
is whose.
The issue is that we tried to put lighting on stuff, but it's just one more thing for people to fucking knock over.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I do know that on the top left-hand side there, we've got those wraiths that haven't moved much from the start. Yep. So they're obviously just there as a counter-assault sort of unit holding the side there. Is that another unit of wraiths behind it with a spider?
So that's a unit of 3 spiders that are in support of that unit of scarabs that are in front. He's got a unit of wraiths that have just come in and cleared out his opposition scarabs. He's also got a unit of wraiths that have gone very deep into his opponent's lines and are hunting his opponent's 2 spiders. If you can see those on the opponent's home objective. Oh, sorry, on James Keller's home objective.
Yeah, so he's got that wraith there in the top right.
Other silver guy, Matt Hansen's home objective. Who put this mirror match together, you scrubs? Jesus.
Yeah, let's ban mirror matches.
Yeah. At least Necron and Necron ones are confusing.
Hey, do we know if the Necron secondary objectives can get 5 points in a turn? Is that a thing?
5 points in a turn. Let me have a quick look. There might be one of them that can.
I'm trying to decipher the code that I've been given from the Necron players. And, and yeah.
It's written as in 011011.
Oh, we've got Denise joining us.
Yes.
Coming in to say hi.
Yes, you can. You can score 5 points off Treasure of Aeons. Hey, Denise!
You can get 5. That's insane.
He's looking clever, looking smart. What was he up to?
This is actually his shirt, by the way. He's going to
smell,
jump on.
Does it smell like fear?
Dude, it smells like clean teeth, you know?
Yuck.
He's a dentist.
He's a dentist.
That's the joke.
Why is he looking so smart? Where's he been? I'm assuming he's been at a wedding.
He's going to join on right now.
And he's about to tell me I've been at a wedding. I couldn't come. Where you been all my life, Big D?
You have to push that button.
Just push to talk.
Hold it.
Hello, patrons.
Hey, babe. How you doing, mate?
He's currently sitting on the court. I'm trying to help him out here. It's
all
right.
I'm sorry. I wish I could have been here for the rest of the day, but I've been playing.
You've been playing sport? I assumed you were at a wedding.
It looks
Unfortunately
like it.
not.
So Denise actually the one of the co-hosts with me on the normal blokes. So yeah, he's come for the day. He wasn't able to attend and play the game. That's why we didn't have a team, and that's why I'm streaming. But he's here anyway.
Yeah, good to be here, guys.
What would you?
Looks like.
What would you have played if you were playing, brother?
Oh, I would definitely have played the Death Watch. It'd have been fun as.
That's the only thing we're missing. Yeah, there's no Death Watch here.
Yeah.
Scrubs.
Yeah. Oh, Solly, mate.
Yeah, don't even engage with him.
Doing me hard.
Don't pay the trolls.
Yeah. but yeah, it would have been good to play. It looks like a pretty good last round. I've been watching it. I watched it the first round in the morning, and it was pretty sick. So yeah, keen to see what's going on.
We should rename it to the Handsome Blokes. That's probably the best compliment I've ever had.
Oh, George, that's lovely. But yeah, how's the round going, Lukey?
Yeah, it's good, man. The 4 cameras, first trial for the guys at Art of War and for myself as well. Started off a little bit rocky, I think we could admit, Adam, but it's turned out pretty damn well.
Oh, dude, for rocky starts, this one was a freaking dream.
Yeah, 100%. It looks awesome, guys. Like, it's the 4 screens. That's sick. Who have we got on at the moment?
This is double Necrons. This is Matt Hansen versus James Keller.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
On the right, we've got the individual match scores. Down the bottom, we have the round scores for each team.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, cool. I saw it this morning. It's nice that it tracks like the 20-0 system. That's really cool.
I'm a big fan. A 20-0 system is something that's so unique to 40k that I'd really love for us to be able to retain it, no matter what mission pack or what thing we use. And it's cool. WTC have been able to adapt it, and it seems to be working a treat.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's interesting to see how the split will be in 9th. It looks like it's been all right today. But Lukey, what's this game looking like?
Yeah, this game, it's been a slow one. We've got the Giant King as recorded in the end.
So
he's staying around this whole battle round. We haven't seen him take any wounds. In the middle, we just had a big bash between Necron Warrior squads, and then also on top of that, we had Destroyers. So that was interesting in the middle. But it's kind of been a grind game, and it looks like James Colour's coming out on top here. He's currently sitting at 13-7, but that's after turn 3, so we've got to see how the turns roll out after that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's so swingy because with the new things the Necrons have, they can swing the game so quickly with the command protocols. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. I won't hang around for a huge amount of time, but it's pretty cool. How are the other games this round going?
Yeah, look, the other ones here. Why don't we take a quick look at Eric's game. So this one was really interesting. Before we had a squad of about, I think it was nine girl Repentia squad. I was going to say 9-man Repentia squad, but 9 girl Repentia squad hitting a squad of I think it was 8 Blight Lords left or 6 Blight Lords left.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
One hit them, just
wow.
cleaned them up. He's still got the Disco Lord, as we can see at the top left. He's got a bunch of scraggly units hiding behind ruins down the bottom right. Bottom middle right. I think Eric's actually got units hiding behind the very bottom right building. What's left basically is the Lord Discordant at the top left, Demon Prince down the top middle. Bottom middle, where they're pointing and rolling now, and a squad of what are they called? Blights, not Blight spawns. Chaos spawns.
Chaos
Man, there's so many spawns, Blight spawns, Chaos spawns. Jeez.
Yeah, it looks alright for Eric, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Eric's probably got this pretty comfortably. It might have looked at it right now. It looks like Eric is being contained, but he's being very systematic about where he decides to score. He has had a lot of little input along the bottom of the table, and he's actually got a unit of, I think it will be Celestians or either Dominions right to the right middle of the table that's just racking up engage points, like at will. Just like, oh, cool, engage points for me, please. Give me some more. I'd like some more. I've got some more. Really, really good work there. But as for where this sits at the moment, Eric's bubble is so well contained. His castle is essentially entirely intact. Bunch of Celestians, bunch of a unit of Repentia, a bunch of Retributors. As soon as he takes care of this Lord Disco and this Demon Prince, there is nothing to stop his tide from just sweeping over the entire middle of the board and starting to rack up 15s on primary. I think that's exactly what we're going to see in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know how good Miracle Dice are and their best application, it's for 6s on advances or 6s on charges. That is literally their
when
premium.
People measure and they're like, oh man, you might need a 6 to get this objective. No problem.
No worries. Just slot it
It just so happens.
So good.
Yeah, it's
Have
so
I
good.
told you about Miracle Dice?
Because you know what it is, yeah. This is a dice game, and then you got an army that doesn't play with dice. They take away a variable, and the dice is the natural leveler of all armies. Every army needs to roll a dice to get to inform what they can and can't do. Then when you got an army that's just like, I need to do this thing. Oh, cool! I've got this thing that just lets me do that thing. No dice, no interaction, no nothing. It just creates an incredible, potent level of reliance. If you can you cast your minds to the top right, that table is gone because Steve May decided it.
Yes, Steve had the 9 versus
Oh,
Marine
no.
matchup, and the Marines went
Oh,
pretty.
not like this.
So we'll take a
Poor
zoom
bloke.
in on the Aaron versus Denny Giles.
There's a lot of dead boys, man.
This is
But at the same time, doesn't matter.
Luke, I think you continue to say Danny Giles. I believe it's
no,
Danny
no,
Giles.
I've
just
talked to him
wanna-
about this. He said it's okay. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. So I'm just saying it wrong.
No, you're saying it
Okay.
right. I keep saying it wrong, and he's like, nah, man, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
So it looks like we've got the Cannoneers deep diving with a couple of the characters into that unit of orcs on the top left-hand corner, while Gaz has picked up those mortifiers and is making further inroads into the backfield for the sisters. The bottom right-hand unit of orcs is also doing the same. It looks like the sum total of the sisters right now is like 3 squads of 5 sisters, 5 ladies that are uncontested sitting in the home objective, and then a couple of characters sitting at the top. Looks like Celestine has just picked up what looks to be 5 actually looks to be about 8 or 9 orc boys between her and what I assume is the last mortifier up there. Man, mortifiers. Can't tell you enough that they're worth taking. Good God, there's a lot of attacks.
Yeah, and the heavy bolter changes and stuff, pretty hectic. They're just putting out shots and they're swinging, and these big beastie things that just hit hard. That's awesome. I'm really excited actually that a few of the players are playing orcs again. That's sick to see.
Oh, dude, man, the orcs look like they're going to go 6-0 for the 2 orc lists. We're going to have to check in on any of the other orc lists. I think there's one more There's 3
Yeah.
Orc lists here. We'll see how that one's going as well. But so far, the Orc lists are freaking pounding. It feels like they're the only army that can play a horde at the moment and get away with it.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, especially with good line of sight blocking terrain, like these tables are great. Like you can feed what you want to your opponent, and then you have all these boys left for just like big hits and big objective steals. Like, it's so cool.
Exactly right. He's got sisters piling into Gaz. That's not going to be good. Poor sisters. What did you do? What did you do to deserve this? Looks like you had to take some. He killed 2 boys. I was about to say, looks like Gad had to take some saves. I was like, no way they don't
I was
lose to
gonna
Gad.
say, what's he really got left to tackle the Gaz? I mean,
Oh,
I just
nothing.
run the direct opposite way to Gaz right now.
And
Or you could just throw like bodies into it so he can't fall back
Yeah,
and charge.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Valerie, die for the Emperor or die trying. Exactly right. I'm of the opinion he's probably got his 2 of his unit of Retributors sitting in that. And then look, Gaz just picked them all up. Oh no, sorry, it was probably the boys. I think Gaz went and killed like 3 of them, and then the boys went and he was just like, "Do you want me to roll these fucking 90 attacks?" And the guy's like, "Nah, that's fine."
All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off and let Nick jump back in because I need to get home. But good to see you all.
See you, D.
No problems. We have just had a handshake on this game. I think they've called it. That's all she wrote,
Oh,
and we'll
shit.
see a final
Looks
score
like it.
here.
I'll let Nick jump in.
Yeah, we'll see. Interesting to see your predictions. Like, what do you think this is going to end up as? Never mind. What do I think? Adam, what do you think this is going to end up? Well, Adam, I think this is going to end up something around an 18-2, 17-3. I'm of the opinion that Aaron's done enough that he's probably maxed his primary and come quite close to maxing most of his secondaries. He's definitely got max and engage. If not, he's got 12. He's probably got most of direct assault, and Lord knows he was doing pretty well on the rest. Looks like Luke is about to chime in with a bit of an interview, so I'll hand it over to him.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So this is Nick Argent. He recently played Steve Wade on the green table that you mentioned before. How'd you go on that matchup? Because we actually really liked your knight list. We thought it was a marine killer list, and we all actually voted for you on that table. Do you want to tell us about the matchup and everything?
Yeah, it was rough. um, I thought it would be a decent matchup, but Knights not having an invul save in combat and then neg 4, neg 3 coming through, just slapping the hell out of me hurts bad.
Yeah, I can imagine, right? But it was hard because Wadey had a lot of answers for the Knights, and he's quite fast moving, right? Did you find that was a factor in how he quickly took down some Knights, or were you not expecting some things happening, how some Knights dying when you thought they might have lived?
No, I expected him to be quick, and I expected him to hurt me, so I kind of deployed like a little bitch and sat at the back.
Sometimes you got to try and keep your stuff alive, right? But you have the
Yeah.
shooting power still. Like,
Yeah.
You do have it's D6 shots for minimum 3
Yep.
damage, right?
Yep. They do a lot of work when they go off, but D6 is just you got to roll 6, and most of the time it's averaging 3, so 4. Yeah. But yeah, it was what I expected, but a bit quicker than I expected, to be honest. I thought I could last longer than I did.
Yeah, okay. So it was interesting. We saw the Lord of Change go down. So would you mind telling us what happened there? Because we were a bit unsure. We're like, hang on, 4 Centurions or 3 Centurions killed the Lord of Change? What happened there?
I sent the Lord of Change like a madman because I just wanted to go deep and him to absorb a whole lot of firepower to try and keep my knights, which is probably where I stuffed up because I should have put all the knights up with him as well. So he would have had to choose kind of thing. But the Lord of Change took a lot of shots, he took about 400 points. All the plasma from I don't know what they're called. I can't remember. Inceptors, yeah. All the plasma from the Inceptors and he survived for a long time, but yeah, he died. So
yeah.
I can see what the theory was. I see what the theory was behind that play, though, because you had your Moiraxes deployed pretty defensively and defensively moved. Like, you moved to not give you much line of sight on any single group of 2 or 3 of them, and then he put the lock up, hoping that he'd expose himself to try and get rid of the lock, and therefore open himself up to the Moiraxes on the return. The issue is the lock fucking exploded.
Yeah, that was the play to try and bait him out to come in. But yeah, he has a lot of shots that hurt. Melt demons.
Yeah, dude. Would you change anything about your list? I thought I would prefer to have seen say 3 to 4 melee knights with 5 or 6 just double shooty. Because I'm a huge fan of the graviton pulses, especially in this this marine meta we're in at the moment, especially sisters meta as well. Would you differentiate? Would you break it down or change it up in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I was practicing. I was actually using the lightning locks,
Oh yeah,
and
nice.
like just having 3 boys on the back line that could just sit there, 12 base shots exploding on 6s, neg 1 or 2, 1 damage. Does a bit of work, which would have helped me in my earlier matchups. But yeah, I
Well,
would.
you won both your early matchups, didn't you? You actually clubbed them, right?
I lost
Oh,
the first one.
really?
Lost the
Apologies.
first one to Harley's.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, shit. Ouch.
yeah. I got.
Was that to
Yeah.
Brian, the tall fella?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All those quality shots just
And
bounce, don't they?
Yep. And then a bunch of fusions
Yeah.
just come in.
Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, what would you change in the future? So you'd add in the lightning locks. Anything else? You're still quite sold on the 9 Moiraxes?
Yeah, I think that's the perfect amount. Nurglings don't die. Like they just sit there. They absorb everything. They can control. They give me that objective control, which is nice. And then the Lord of Change, if you want to, you can sit it there, do your psychic ritual, get that 15, but send him out and do work. So yeah.
Well, dude, well done again. This how do you feel about the teams format? How do you feel about team events? Do you like them? Do you loathe them?
This is my first teams. I haven't really played much events, to be honest. I haven't really played much Warhammer, to be honest. Just probably my 3rd tournament. And yeah, it's cool. Good day. Everyone's chill.
Well,
no one's a dick.
Then well done, man. Mate, if first teams event playing on the top table. Good job.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Cheers.
No, well done. With that, I'll say thank you, and we'll start trying to wrap up the round. But thanks very much for coming on. It was great to hear your opinion. Thanks very much, man. Cheers.
Good luck to you in the future, brother. Look forward to seeing what you can pull off with those knights in the future.
Oh, I'd just like to say he has a hectic mullet going on in the back. A hectic party in the back, right there.
Dude, legit, if we could, in like the overall, the So I think the Gladiator Gaming is going to be a series where you're going to get extra bonus points for ifs and buts. There should be like a best hairdo or a best mullet award at the end of the season.
Well, look, he'd win that one, so
he would, right?
Ardent Milk would lose that terribly.
They're all bald.
What do you do if you have no hair? How do you enter? That's unfair, man. That's unbalanced.
You buy wigs.
Ducky has
and
back
you
hair.
wear a variety of outrageous wigs to different events.
Okay, so looking at the tables, I think Danny and Aaron are starting to summarise scores. So in a few moments, we'll get a finalised score there, which will be interesting. I think it's safe to say that Aaron's got that one. What do you reckon? Yep.
Yes, there's literally no sisters left. If you've got Deathcopters in the middle of the table doing whatever you want with Deathcopters, then I think you're in a comfortable position.
So secondly, we're currently looking at the game with Eric and Jay Hansen. They're currently just summarising scores and talking over some things. But those scores should be coming in soon. Eric's been pretty good with his scores this weekend. He's been keeping them up to date. It'll just be a final few scores, and we'll be sweet there. I'll take us to the Necron table.
So that is a 20-0 to Steve Wade and a 20-0 to Aaron Green versus Mr. Giles or Mr. Giles.
I think it'll be almost that to Eric as well, looking at it.
Yeah, that's it. Looks like it's going to be a clean sweep for Art of War 1.
Yeah, I think
they're going to 4-0 him, which is a bit brutal.
The secondary picks for Jay really laid down there.
So yeah, this is currently the final game running. I think the round would have already been decided based on all the other games, but it's still interesting to see this Necron mirror match. It looks like the VP 13-7 as of current.
So literally, like Matt would need to get a 20 to make this round interesting, and I think there's no chance in hell he gets a 20. I think he might be able to fight it back to something respectable, but I think he's still going down. Yeah, boys.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think there's much. I think, Out of War, it looks like they want to take in the first Gladiator Teams event.
Yeah, it looks like it, man. And just having a chat to some of the other boys, there's been a few more draws. So that 46 is actually hard for some teams to get to.
There you go. Do you guys want to start doing a couple of interviews while we wait for these last couple of scores to come in? Anybody in the chat or any armies in the chat you guys want us to hear from, or any captains from other armies you want us to get opinions with?
Well, I'm going to. I'll start off with Josh while we have time before he gets into doing all the stuff, and he can have a chat about the Gladiator Gaming.
Fan-fucking-tastic. For those of you who don't know Josh McGowan, he's a goddamn legend and a national treasure.
Yeah, man, he's been the king of Hammer since 5th ed, really.
Yeah. Someone have Valley wants to know if anybody's playing Craft World Eldar. I don't think there is.
Nope,
Zero.
there's no Eldar. There's one Jakari
Yeah,
list.
there's one Harleys and one Drakari. Man, Eldari, how the mighty have fallen. They have dropped off in a hellacious way. And you know what?
Yeah, they might find some users in this team.
Oh,
event
dude,
too.
there are absolutely some crazy ass builds in team events, especially for the Drakari side of things. There are so many obscure Drakari builds that actually find a lot of mileage here. Like even just spamming poison venoms against something like the Orc list we've been seeing will do a hell of a lot of work into all those boys. On top of that, the resiliency of Rax and things like Talos and Grotesques really hold up. And then you got guys like Drazar and Incubi just do a hell of a lot of choppy work, especially with the updates they're getting. But yeah,
that's it. If you're willing to mix up with some different factions there through Eldari, then yeah, that would definitely be good. Josh may be a bit tied up, so we'll just have to cover for a bit there, Adam.
I know he's into the S&Ms. That's fair.
Well, I could probably grab Danny. He's walking past me. Just hold up one sec.
So that's Danny Giles.
Yeah, man. Danny Giles or Giles? Giles, man. The guy that we've had just play Aaron. So you've just got to press G to talk.
You here with us, mate? Not too bad. All yours, Nick.
Hey, Danny, how are you?
Yeah, look, that was a bit.
Yeah, 100%, man. So let's talk us through the matchup process there. What was your role here? Were you put forward or were you matched?
I think he's muted, guys. Can't hear him. Can we get you able to fix that up, Nick, or are we able to get Luke to come fix it up?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate. I'm just
awesome.
All right, cool. Well, Danny's just running through the matchups that they've got and why they went through what they've got.
Yeah, so we built our team around having like 3 lists that were just really hard to pair against because they were either like hard to kill or like maybe the other team would struggle to figure out an answer for it. And then we had our knight player running just crazy that we were hoping would get a 20 each time. So yeah, like I would have. I don't know why we didn't. It was an absolute brain fart when they threw Stephen Wade out. And I was like, all day, I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take the white scars. That's that's a green for me. And then we were like, nah, we'll throw the Knights player into it and end up with Aaron Green's 120 Orcs. So
yeah, okay. Well, interesting you say that because we thought that you had probably made that night list to wreck Marines. And we thought, oh, these boys have done it. They've got the matchup that they want there because these Knights will wreck Marines. And we thought Wadey actually pulled a big win out of the bag.
Yeah. So, had a chat to Nick and had a chat to Wadey, and Nick just didn't play aggressive enough. So he threw his chicken in, and he didn't throw the rest of the Knights in. So they let Wadey just pick it apart. And
yeah, man, that lot of change when that went, we were like, oh, this is going to turn the game for sure. So how did you find you went against Aaron? Obviously, you were saying it was a red matchup for you.
Yeah. So against Aaron, I thought I had a good chat with him after, and I thought my initial thought was I need to just octopus out. I got the first turn. I thought I'll take that first turn. I'll spread out. So he's just jumping and whatever. But I didn't take in consideration the shorter deployment. So he made all four Orc boy squads made like 9-inch charges into my like line, and then shit was getting wrapped. And then I had to commit turn 2 with my mortifiers and my Zephyrim. And then brain fart moment again. I sent one mortifier unit into one squad and one mortifier unit into another squad. So the interrupt, and I got really lucky with like saves and stuff. And the Zephyrim failed. So like the intent there was I didn't want to get green tided. So I just wanted to like take 3 units down to like 10 dudes, like make Aaron make decisions, and he did. But then I ran out of screens. So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something we noticed we noticed you were like really particular on where you're going to place your dudes. So we thought, oh, he's obviously going for board control like you said you were. But like you said, that allowed Aaron to actually tuck in, and it actually worked against you. So that's what allowed Aaron to come in and actually wrap you up and stop you from doing anything that you wanted to do after that. So, yeah, that's a bit rough.
Yeah, absolutely rough, man. Like, if I just sat back and, like, kept my gaps, like, closer than that 32 mil, it's different. He just hits the wall and he bounces. I space that back, like maybe 3 inches.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it sort of stops him from able to do what he wants
That
to
lets
do.
me have like turn 3. Then the mortifiers can come in and they can start cleaning up.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so what we got you there, Adam? You want to have a chat with Danny? You got any questions for him?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? It's good to hear from you. I've enjoyed your thinking, and I'm really interested to know what you would alter with your list. I've played you before as well. I think we played you at the last Queensland Teams event. Same venue, same place. I was the guy playing the Dark Angels Flyers and being a total jerk. But yeah, I noticed your arm is quite similar that you have now. You've packed a lot of points into having a multi-melter and a cherub and things of that ilk in each of your sister squad just to get the most mileage you can out of them. Will you change anything about your list in hindsight?
Yeah, mate. I remember it's absolutely the same situation last team event when I played you. It was an absolute red for me, again in the last round. So I've gone with this list. The intent is having like the multi-melter in each troop choice, each sister squad with the cherub. It's just consistency with that miracle dice.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're getting like really consistent anti-tank or like anti-elite fire. I am so hot on the retributors with the multi-melters at the moment.
Oof.
It's unbelievable, dude. Like the 2 CP strat, you're getting like the +3 damage in half range. Unbelievable, man. But yeah, like that was why it was tailored to so many melters. I went to Custodes today. I got lucky in the first round and played Dark Eldar, which just didn't have the tools to deal with it in this edition with their codex. But I think going forward, I really like the list because it feels well-rounded to me. So I'll probably look at the Dialogus in there. She's in there to help with the efficiency of the melters, but just didn't come up enough today to warrant having like a 50-point model in there.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the what you got with the mortifiers, they're very, very good at a counter assault against anti-horde units. But I was wondering how do you feel like they go against things of a more beefy nature, things like Blade Guard, things like God forbid when we start seeing Sanguinary Guards and things of that ilk again. Do you feel like they still retain the same efficiency?
I see. I'll give an example in the Custode matchup. They sort of, you lose like you have. I found I had to play them a different way.
Yep.
So they weren't like that crazy assault unit that's going to run a mark on your opponent because they just won't, especially on something that's like a 2-up save that's just going to a 4-up or, they've got the Storm Shield on or they're ignoring AP. So I just use them on the flanks as like just go sit on an objective, and if they want to come over and take it, like, they're going to have to run the risk of, going into combat with them. But I love them. They're unbelievable.
Oh, I think they're phenomenal. I just thought if you maybe would benefit from a unit of Repentia in there as well.
Yeah. No, I've played with Repentia before, and they are unbelievable. So
They're actually fucked up.
They're actually nuts. Hey?
Yeah, it seems to be the one thing your list is missing, and maybe you sacrifice.
Punch, hey?
Yeah. You just need extra counter assault against things that you can't otherwise, because you're leaning on Celestine, you're leaning on those mortifiers to do a lot of heavy lifting. Because admittedly, against your list, I think just about every opponent you're going to play is going to want to try and charge you at some point.
Yeah, and that's just it, and that's and that's what I lacked today. So it was that little bit of extra counter punch.
No, but dude, well freaking done to you and your team. I like it. I think last time we played against you guys, it was also on a top table, but you guys, there was a different. That's because we had played everyone below us, and you guys were in 5th or 6th. You guys were in 1st place coming into this round. Well freaking done, man. Like, amazingly well done.
Yeah, cheers, man. It was an absolute surprise when we got the results came in after round 2. We were all blown away. Did you have a cohesive way of wielding your guys? Do you have a standard put up and a standard champion locked in, or do you keep it very fluid? We sort of had that discussion. We have a couple of players in our team have different experience levels. Like we've all played tournaments before, but a couple of us have played a bit more. So we sort of, when we came into matchups, we consider the lists and we looked at like who's got probably the best like odds of getting a green. So like say someone had like 3 greens, we'd probably throw them into champion, or they go into. We'd just throw them out first, like try and protect the other 2.
Yeah, fair call. Well, dude, you've done amazingly well. Nick, any other things you want to ask?
No, that's it, man. Well, thanks very much, Danny.
Yeah, cheers, man. I'll catch you guys later.
Dude, thanks so much, and good luck with the next tournament. I expect to see you guys again on some top tables.
Yeah, cheers, man.
All right, Adam, while I got you here, we're going to transition over to the Necron game just to catch the very last of that and see what's going on.
All right, so it looks like this round is quite a comfortable win to Art of War 1. It looks like they're going to get 4 out of 4 wins, which is it's a little bit disheartening for the top table game, but admittedly they've done really well. You can't deny it. They've done really, really well. So that is a current 16-4 win for Eric Luthurus. I think that game has properly wrapped up now, hasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, man. Yeah, all the games are wrapped up by the Necron game. So actually, Aaron has jumped in to join us here, so we're going to run into an interview with Aaron.
Tap it.
Hey guys.
Aaron, how's it going, man?
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a long day. My back is sore from playing with so many movement trays and orcs and shit.
Yeah, man. Nice. Well, we've seen a couple of times that you've played different roles in different teams throughout the day. You've been thrown up. You've been matched. How do you think the orcs have stood up?
In the team environment, I think they're extremely strong. There's a couple of matchups that are bad for them, but ultimately there's just so many bodies on the table. I get a lot of ball control. The missions today played really well into the list, especially the hold 2 for 5 style missions. I was able to really, like in 2 games against demons, I was able to shut down their primary entirely. Like I actually think in games 1 and 2, I didn't have any primary scored against me.
Yeah, that's good. It definitely shows that orcs can be strong in this type of event. But you still did play, like Sisters are obviously a strong army, so you did play them. What else did you play? You played against, what did we see us at play here?
So two sets of demons actually. So
that's it. So
the first list was some demons, some CSM, some Thousand Suns rubrics with all Araman and all the casters, and then the second list was Roy's Beast of Nurgle, 3 Greater Demons. Yeah.
So how do you feel going into that list there?
The Great Demons. I actually really wanted to play this list into the Beasts for a while because with all the Scar Boys at Strength 5, I started really converting a lot of damage into them. And
definitely.
And it panned out like that. I was like, with a round of swing, I was killing 2.5 Beasts, no problem. And then their swing backs were negligible because I still get armor saves. They only get D6 attacks. It's not. They don't wound me or hit me rather really well without the snail character.
Yeah, you definitely win the attrition game there, don't you?
Definitely. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't many casualties at all with the orcs. I got 1 green tied off and was able to, with the jump, actually green tied in one side and then kind of swap them with the jump and kind of rebalance my flanks. It was really cool.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, Adam and I were having a bit of a disagreement on whether you should jump or not there, weren't we, Adam?
Yeah, and which one of us was right?
Yeah, it wasn't me, that's for sure.
I even called where you were going to put him as well because I thought you wanted that 4th unit to make combat, and not only there, you wanted that unit to be there in case he dove, because that was the obvious counter assault point. He was going to go straight up into that top unit with probably the mortifiers and the characters and the Zephyrim if you could make it. And I thought it was just only fitting that you'd have that second unit up there. Either that if they did make the charge, they'd be there to take up the space and continue the pressure, because it was going to take a while for Gaz to get there and get into the mortifiers because that was the obvious counterpoint there.
Yeah, and with the restrictions on how I place a green tide, it made sense to kind of have the jump player in the back pocket. And it was like Rory's like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, is there anything you would change about the list, or did it work exactly how you wanted it to?
For this environment, I think the list was actually great. Originally, I was going to have some trucks or something like that, and then when we were talking as a team, the Defcopters came into the play, and it actually allowed me to tinker a little bit and get a 3rd unit of commandos. So in terms of playing the mission, it plays the mission so well. I took scrambles every game, got it every game, no problem. Probably should have taken banners in the second game, but live and learn. But yeah, in terms of playing the mission and denying primary against armies that just can't deal with the amount of bodies, I can't fault it actually.
Yeah, dude. I reckon it's a ridiculously strong list and archetype, especially in the team's format. Nick, what else you got?
No, that's good, Aaron. Well, thanks very much for coming and having a chat with us, mate.
No worries. I'm keen to go back and watch some of the production here. It's looking awesome. So awesome work, everyone.
Thanks very much. Nick's done most of the legwork. Nick and Diff done most of the things.
Nothing to do with me. I've just sat here.
Oh, right. It's by your initiative this has been a thing. So.
Oh, Dan's out of here. He's leaving early because he didn't win. That's typical Dan style.
All right. Is that all
He's coming back.
Is that all the results locked in now? That's it, done and dusted?
Yeah, mate. So that's it all locked in. Josh is about to make the announcements. I don't know if you want me to turn the camera around so that we can do it there now. Oh, Eric's going to come and have a chat with us, actually.
Beauty. And usually we just cut it off. Usually people can see what the if we can get a leaderboard leading out to this event, so people can see what the top three is going to be.
No worries at all. So I'll just
yeah, wow. Big comfortable win there at the end. Yeah, Fire Drake 23, 22. Yeah, if you do get into a red with that Orc list, there's not much you can do about it. You're going to cop a paddling. But surprisingly, I didn't see many lists that I would thought would have been quite comfortable going into that. Ez, my man. Well, Nick.
Hey, Adam. All right. So yeah, we got Eric here.
All yours, mate. Pick his brain.
That's it, mate.
Going, Eric?
Art of War won for a reason, eh?
Yeah, mate. So my team that I picked let me down, obviously. So you're under pressure there for a bit. Obviously, game 2, like you said, was your hardest game.
Yeah.
Your Ducks team. That was the one that nearly pipped you.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that beforehand. They were going to be our hardest round, even out of the other Art of War team. We matched up worse against them than anyone else in the event. So.
Yeah, that's it. And you actually had to do a bit of a roll up your sleeves and make your magic happen to get the team over the line there.
It was good, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good. And there's a few dudes here that you obviously coached. Like you obviously coached Steve, Aaron you helped a bit, and then Michael that you played against. So those dudes have been getting some coaches with you, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you can see Michael obviously played against you and had you, like, obviously you were still comfortably going to win, but he had you in a position where you were having to actually try hard against him.
I wasn't a pushover at all. That game's that's a rough game for my list, especially like with that many units of hounds. Him being so fast makes it really hard to play on the flanks, which is kind of what I want to do against those slower lists, and he kind of stops that.
Yeah, 100%. So some of the things that I've seen today is probably the picks of secondaries. So the secondaries that people have taken, so especially against yourself. So old mate that was playing... we still there? No, we're still good. So old mate that was playing the Death Guard against you just then, he's taken Assassinate, and at the same time you've taken While We Stand. So that's just been a massive swing for you.
Yeah. So While We Stand is so good on that list that I'm playing. So someone sees 8 characters in my army and they think Assassinate's going to be great, right? But you're still going to get through 100 sisters, plus all the miracle dice and passing off wounds and stuff you can do with that army. So it just ends up being a massive pitfall of points. You just lose everything. And then he also made a bit of a mistake taking Scramblers against me as well. Like taking Scramblers in a quarter deployment mission is pretty bad because I'm going to screen my backfield really well.
100%, yeah.
I'm going to take 10 points off him there on top of the Assassinate. So.
Yeah, that's it. So just as the game unfolds, you're just taking the points and taking the points back. Yeah. So do you have any questions there, Adam?
Yeah, got a bunch. In your lineup, in hindsight, do you feel like there was a list that could obviously be improved now that you've seen what you're playing into, or now that you've seen how it would be wielded?
Do you mean the sisters or?
Nah, in any of your 4-team lineup, is there anything you would change in hindsight?
Yeah. Look, the Necron list probably could have done something a bit different. Like we could have gone more down that warrior sort of road.
Yep.
But in saying that sort of list was really awkward for people to pair against. It did, while it didn't score huge points, it played a massive part in filling that champion role and just being awkward to get big wins off.
Did you champion it every round?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
and
you see in round 2, right? Like that was probably more of a favourable game for him. But that list, even when it's on the back foot, it's still scoring like 6 or 7 points.
Exactly right, dude. Exactly right. So yeah, he didn't pull the trigger in that game, which is what we thought we were going to do. We thought he'd pull the trigger and just drown his opponent in like toughness 5 wounds with invulns and such.
Yeah, we talked about that, and the plan was to throw the kitchen sink at the guard, but I think he hesitated a bit. So.
I think once turn 1, when he lost a unit of race turn 1, that actually scared him a bit.
Well, he lost it, and he lost a unit, so he lost a lot. He lost a unit of Scorpic Destroyers and a unit of race turn 1, and so he was just like, oh. He had a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. But in this one, man, he threw that kitchen sink and he got a solid win.
Yeah, it's good, man. Like, I think it's that sort of stuff comes down to experience, I think.
Exactly right. How do you feel about the event? How do you feel about the kind of mentoring perspective they've taken for this one, splitting up the kind of representative or what we would perceive to be the top players and attaching them to, well, not attaching them to, but pairing them up with players who might have less experience? Do you think that's worked as intended?
Man, I think it was great, to be honest. Like, usually you see one or two, like, you look at the teams going into an event and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably going to be between one or two teams.
Yeah.
In this one, we had probably like five or six teams kind of on equal sort of playing field. And I
Exactly
thought it was
right.
really good. Like, all those rounds we had to work to get wins, yeah, that none of them were just complete walkovers.
Mm.
Well, round
And-
2 is almost
Yeah,
drew.
exactly. We almost
Dude.
we almost lost the event there. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, how bizarre would it have been if they drew, and we know that Art of War 2 and the Cobra Boys, they drew as well. So it was going to be 4 draws on the top 2 tables.
yeah, it would have
It's
been pretty wild.
ridiculous.
Would have been a bit of a
Ridiculous.
bloodbath in the last round.
Well, that would have made it pretty easy for who was going to hit the podium, just all the people with draws pair up. But, dude, would you change anything about your list? Is this list that you think that could transition into a singles list at any stage, or is this purely a teams build?
We all want to know what you're taking to Masters, bro.
I'm there for the three-peat, mate. You'll have to see. Nah, the Sisters list, man, I thought it was incredible. Everything was great. It's probably more of a teams list. I don't know if it's got the staying power to be a singles list, but for teams, it's definitely amazing. It just does everything.
And that's just because it's always going to get a freaking score, right?
Yeah, it's it. Like it's good at it plays super cage if it needs to, and it can change its tempo straight away. It's got good shooting. It's really good in combat, and it's really like you don't really want to sit there getting shot by multi-melters, and then at the same time you don't want to dive into that list because you get hit by Pocket Repentia or even the Celestians or the little Canonesses and stuff like that. It's got a lot of hidden power in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of counter assault units that you've got sitting behind that good shooting units.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, a lot of times you're outscoring them on primary or scoring well in secondaries, and people get a bit anxious, so they kind of just dive in. I think the answer is to just dive in and stop you from moving, but that's when you kind of really pull ahead. It's when you start killing everything coming at you and creating space on the board, so your back end is super strong as well.
Well, that's what we saw in all of your games. Sort of turn 1, turn 2, you're sort of waiting. Turn 3, you sort of made them commit. Once they overcommitted, you hit them where you needed to hit them. And turn 4 and turn 5 is where you wrapped it up.
That's it. So turn 4, turn 5 is where you score the bulk of your points. Like the early part of the game, you're just looking to stay parallel with your opponent.
Yeah, 100% agree. How's the rest of the event packed up? We know who's come second, who's come third.
Not yet. I think they're still. We'll have a look at the leaderboards, the round pairings.
Eric, what's the next event that's coming up over there? What can we expect next up in the Gladiator series or from Art of War?
Queensland Masters, bro.
Yeah, how long until that? It's only a couple of weeks away, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 weeks away.
Fantastic. Are you guys going to be streaming that?
Nick?
Yep, you can't have your computer back, bro. So we are keeping it and we are streaming it.
I guess I'm in as well. I'll come on for that. Man, Art of War, first and second, and the Globo Gym Cobras coming in third. So the Art of War did win their last round. So despite Duck going down, so the captain going down to Liam, so captain on captain love there, and Liam got the best of that. Art of War still carried the day. So it'd be interesting to see the breakdown of those scores. Maybe I'll have a look at them in my private time. But if you look at the breakdown of the battle points, 179 for Art of War 1, 164 for Art of War 2. Not a huge amount of points in it, and then there's quite a decent jump of 15 points again. So 15 points are the difference between first and second, and from second to third. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the interesting thing there is like 7th, the abnormal works, who has actually got 106 battle points, but only 1 round win.
Holy shit, they do.
Wow.
How?
That's impressive.
I dare say it'd be terrible matchups and Brian's great Harlequin play.
Brian just Brian just ruffle stomped and then he carried. But yeah, dude, congratulations to all the teams. Hopefully any of you guys who are playing this event and watching this back, well done to you guys. Well done for backing a new initiative up there in Queensland, Gladiator Gaming, in their inaugural event. Hopefully you've enjoyed this stream. We're probably going to cut it.
Before we do go, we're just going to grab Josh and get Josh on here.
Oh, fantastic.
So he can have a chat to wrap it all up.
Beautiful. You can tell us a bit more about our sponsors as well and a bit more what you can expect here. Eric, can you tell us a little bit about Art of War before you leave?
Yeah, man. If you guys like what you see, you like the stream stuff, especially the content Adam and Nick are doing, check out the War Room, guys. It's definitely worth your time. You get a lot out of it. A lot of content, especially not just from us. You get a lot of the American boys on there too. We're only kind of just starting to heat up and do our own content in there. So more good things to come if you're interested in that sort of thing. Check out the Art of War website and subscribe to the War Room. And just another thing, If you like the Necron table on stream today, check out Knights of Dice, guys. There's a discount code Art of War, all in capitals, that you can use there, and you get yourself 15% off to get some of that sweet terrain.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Eric. Well done again, coming in first and
No worries.
piloting
Thanks,
your
bro.
team. Dude, yeah,
Cheers,
well
mate.
done again,
Cheers.
man. Always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
mate. Cheers.
And Adam, so Josh is just picking up the rest of the stands, and he's coming over to have a chat with us.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Man, what an event. What a one-dayer, but it has that epic feel to it. Because it's a teamers event, because it's just not just one dude standing at the top of the podium. It's 4 blokes, and another 4 blokes came second, another 4 blokes came third. There's a lot more riding on just one guy holding all the laurels.
Yeah, that's it, man. Nothing better than playing Hammers with your crew.
Who the
All
fuck is this handsome dog?
He looks like he's a member of Team Milk, but he's not. He's one of our boys.
He does. Holy shit, he does. Josh, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Is Josh muted?
This is G. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, man.
Beautiful.
'Cause-
Thanks heaps for coming in and doing the stream for us today.
No, not at all. My pleasure, man. I always enjoy this stuff, especially doing it alongside such a magnificent company.
Yeah, good. How'd Nick go on his first outing?
Dude, he did well. Did real well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
he's a
Thanks,
legend.
Adam. Lukey was good. Couldn't have done without Lukey. Shout out
Nah,
to Lukey.
dude, yeah, absolutely. It's just Luigi. Dude, tell us about Gladiator Gaming. Tell us about this new initiative. Tell us about what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, so basically, I've always run events, but I've always sort of kept it independent and haphazard and had different names for everything. So all I'm doing now is just consolidating it on one name. So it's Gladiator Gaming. Everyone on here, of course, is on DUP, but we've got 10 events booked in for 2021. So every 2 months will be a teams event, pretty much like this, and then we're running GTs in between that. I've got a couple of different clubs coming underneath my banner. So Art of War is one of them. We've got the Normal Blokes as the other. A gaming club up in Toowoomba will be doing a few more. So it basically just gets us where we're getting commonality with our packs and stuff like that. So raising the standard, keeping it the same thing. So the terrain, the tables, the streaming, venues, prize support, sponsors, all that sort of stuff gets mainstreamed and very, very consistent. And on top of that, I'm launching my own basing company. So it's like basing aids. So flocks, grass, conversion bits, rods, all that sort of jazz. So doing that to basically pretty much give back out more to the community. So there's a lot of times price support is very expensive. Like you don't get a lot bang for buck. But working with local suppliers and stuff like that, I'll basically just be able to give a few more lucky doors that guys can use, and they're actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree. And dude, amazing initiative, amazing thing you've taken on. Unlike a lot of people out there, you legitimately have like just this amount of terrain where you can just really make an event a real special feeling thing. And kudos to you and all the effort and all the work you put in to maintain that and keep that up. Such a resource for the community, man. Absolute legend.
Yeah, it's awesome. Did you guys like the table from Knights of Dice?
Absolutely, we did. It was gorgeous. It's the best one of the 4, naturally. But
Aaron from Art of War basically built and painted that one, and like did a smashing job of it. But
In like a week as well. So he's just smashed it out.
It's easy stuff. Like to have that much terrain built, painted, and all that. That's awesome.
Yeah, when we first opened, I was like, oh, there's no instructions. And then literally just went click, 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 and it was done.
Yeah.
And then Aaron just sprayed it, painted, we're out of there.
yeah, that's legit. And it's such a boon to be able to push out terrain quickly, especially for events of this nature, especially when you want to grow your community as well. Josh, how did your team go? How did you actually go in this event?
Yeah, good man. I haven't looked at the final stuff because we've got a couple of guys still slacking. But I think we ended up with 5 round points overall. So I dare say that might put us into second. I haven't. Yeah. So.
I dare say it will.
There we go.
Nice. Who would have thought?
Oh, weird.
Exactly right.
Hang on one sec.
So, in your list, did your list function as well as you thought? Did it do everything you wanted it to do?
Yeah, well, I think Josh's list was made there as a blocking list. Is that correct, Josh?
Yeah, so pretty much mine, it's Crons, it's just there to take a punch. So basically I copped Blood Angels, I copped the Orcs that no one really wanted, and I copped the Eradicator he had 10 Eradicators, 5 the Plasma Dudes, Shield Gun Vets, Calgar, all that sort of stuff. So anything that can like take big chunks out of armies, I basically worked my way into. So basically just took a beating all weekend, but that's it. So like the last game, I think I got 95 battle points. First game was 80 battle points, but still a loss. Liam was like 40, but he got closer to 90. I just couldn't keep the Orcs out of the center with that one.
Yeah,
So
rough.
It's very much it's a team's list designed for a very specific person. The champion will be thrown up. Give my other boys pretty much their greens. So, but yeah, different way to play the game, but pretty necessary, especially in 4-mans. So,
Anything you'd change in hindsight? Anything you'd adjust or do different in the future in your same list?
same list? Not really, no. So, like, I sacrifice killing power for sustainability. So,
Yeah, of course.
I've got the 2 guys giving me 4-ups. To my Rians on my 2 warrior blobs. I love the spiders. I'll probably actually, if anything, I'd probably drop I took those 5 new destroyer models, the 3-legged ones. I'd probably drop them for another 3 spiders. Like, spiders are insane.
Yeah, dude, for the points, they're off their guts, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it's like you give them D3 extra attacks each, you're hitting on 3s, they're power fists. They're just really, really tanky. And it's nice because I'll probably spread them out. So I'd have more spider support if I've got to do my scarabs, because it took 3 insta scarabs. Just means I can swing them out to the flanks a bit more and still be able to regrow scarabs. But that's about it. I was really happy with how the list went. Obviously got a loss in there, 2 losses, but it was enough that my loss in the first round got enough points that we carried through. So, second place is second place. So it was good.
Nice, man.
Well done.
And yeah, absolutely, well done.
And more importantly, what did the chat think?
Well, the Canadian Ranger was happy to see an event.
But thanks heaps, guys, for everyone that tuned in and listened to these guys and gave them the support. First, last place. Yeah, exactly. First losers. But no, really appreciate all you guys and all the effort that you guys have been doing, especially the chat. Like, couldn't do it without you as well. So thank you for spending your time with us. Give us any sort of feedback, stuff like that from you guys. But yeah, I've got to get back to making sure everything's packed up and do all the prizes. So I love you and leave you. Thanks heaps, guys.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Too easy. All right, love you all.
Love you, brother. Take care. Thanks for all you do. Man, well, we might call it at this point, guys. For those of you unaware, Art of War 1 took first place, Art of War 2 took second place. Who would have thought? And I guess it's the kind of normal blokes team. It's the Gobbo City Dojo, whatever it is called.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Dodger. You can dodge a dice.
They took out third place. We have the lovely Luke Pierce wrapping it up. Anything you want? Any parting messages you want to say, my man, Luke?
No, I just wanted to say well done to Art of War. Well done for the stream. Thank you to Div.
Well done to Normal Blokes.
Oh, thanks, mate. We're happy to help wherever we can. That's what we're all about. I think one of the main key players here is Adam. Thank you for tuning in. Diffie, thank you for solving.
Definitely Diffie. Diffie is the glue.
He's the God Emperor, So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for the listeners tuning in, giving us something to talk at or to. So thank you very much for that, and thanks, Adam. Thanks very much for having me as well.
Cheers, Lucky. So when will our next stream be then, Adam? Masters?
Yeah, we'll be.
Yep. Are you planning Masters, Lucky?
I'm not sure. No, so what's funny is
here we go.
An invite, but because I'm ninth, so I'm ninth place. Eric, because he got in last year, and Josh has to default because he's hosting it. Josh goes out, I go in, but Eric, because he won last year, goes in above me. So Eric kicked me out of one last 2 years, he reminds me, yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah, all right, well, that's us then, Adam.
That is. Thank you so much, boys. You guys have done incredible. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it and to the high quality content you guys have been able to efficiently put together. Thanks again. Yeah, Diff. We couldn't, you guys and us couldn't do fucking anything without Joshua Diffie. And if anybody doesn't know anything about Diff, he is literally the unsung hero of the entire 40k community. That guy does not get enough praise for improving.
He's the Michael Jordan of streaming.
Of everything. He's improved everyone's quality of life in the game. And not many people know about it or give him the praise he deserves. But you two gentlemen have knocked it out of the fucking park. Thank you so much. And I look forward to the next time we can do this.
All right, thanks, Adam. See ya.
Mwah.
Thanks, guys. Catch you later.